beautiful green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money, wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The owl looked out to the stars above and sang to a small guitar. Oh, lovely pussy, oh pussy my love, what a beautiful pussy you are, you are, you are. What a beautiful pussy you are. Pussy said to the owl, you elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be merry, too long we are tarry, but what shall we do for a ring? They sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the palm tree grows. And there in a wood a piggy-wig stood, with the ring at the end of his nose, his nose, his nose, with the ring at the end of his nose. They took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lives on the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with the runcible spoon, and hand in hand on the edge of the sand they danced by the light of the moon. The moon, the moon. They danced by the light of the
G'day, you mob. Once again, forgetting to clear my throat before I start. How are you? What's been going on? Welcome back, everybody who is here. And welcome, and all that stuff. Let's crack straight into some g'days. Who we got first today? S. Finally, S rakes it in again. James H. Oh, sorry, S. First cab off the rank. Big bucket of kudos out in the post to you, my friend. Well done to you. James H., how are you? Huawei, love you too, buddy. Paddy Shaddy, how do, BJ? So many beat you here. 4's not that many, surely. Pop that away for the minute. Blah, 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 blah. Vidra, hello, how are you? Blacky is fair dinkum. I try my best to be fair dinkum. Shanna, 503 Aquatics. Yes, back at ya. How are you, love? Good to see ya. D-Day movies, that's right. That was 2 days ago, my time. Yeah, Saving Private Ryan was, I found, a very good war film. Enjoyed it a lot. No relation. Highest percentage. As in people from that town dying in the war. Is that what you mean by that one, BJ? Highest percentage lost per capita in town of Bedford. I think I read it that way. Stream, I was like 2 minutes late or something, Paddy. It might not have been. You might have just timed that refresh button perfectly. Appointment with the doctor. Yeah. Scotty, Alien World Airsoft, how are you? Terrible shame about the Coke bottle the other day. Probably they're not really designed to penetrate too much, are they? You can't waste the cherry Coke, Scotty, no. George, how are you, mate? Welcome, long time no see. 2 Dougs. How are you, both of you? Both Dougs, hello. All right, made it to the bottom. That was quick. 12 people in. I guess it doesn't take too long when there's only 12 people in. Cheers. Hopefully, I didn't even do any audio tests or anything, so hopefully my audio is clear. Obviously my light is weirdly changing, which is odd because the sky, as you can see up here in the fish tank reflection, you'd think after all these years I'd know my right from my left. Crystal clear skies, nothing changing the light, so it must just be the camera auto-adjusting the light balance and stuff. Thanks, BJ. Good-o. Don't know what to talk about. What is to talk about? Australia won the cricket last night. I had to watch it this morning because it didn't finish until 2:30 this morning or something. So I watched the first half and then watched the second half when I got up this morning. Yeah, no one's interested in the cricket, are they? No, just me. Just me and the bugs. Azerbaijan, Formula One this weekend. Eagerly anticipated. Great, fantastic racetrack. Oh, yes. Boys. Good call, Huawei. I watched the first 3 episodes the other night. Had to smash them all out at once because they were there. And yeah, good, straight back into good form. Good psycho stuff. Yeah, got a very, very fond thing for that show. It's a great show. Oh, thanks, Scotty. I look very good today. Yeah, as you can see, I've thoroughly combed my hair and stuff and put my TV makeup on. I think, what has it been now? It's been a month since I've washed my hair or done anything with it. And it's so much better than fluctuating between washed hair and dirty hair. I just let it go natural. It's not dirty. It doesn't smell. Maybe. That smells great. I also don't tie it up into ponytails very much anymore, which I think creates stinky hair if you pony it up while it's still a bit damp and then forget to let it out. The right flag. What are you talking about, BJ? Think, oh, maybe you've put a little emoji flag in that doesn't come through on StreamYard. Baku is the town where the track is. G'day, Vince. How's it going? You're always welcome, Vincenzo. No worries at all. Yeah, I only was doing man buns when the hair was in between lengths, and a man bun made sense. Once it got to a decent enough length where it sits down on its own and behaves itself, well, somewhat anyway. Yeah, it's forewent the man buns. Let's do a bit of this.
Oh my God. What's going on?
Oh, nice, beautiful clear blue skies and crisp, cold toes and fingers. It's nice. It's lovely.
I gotta move myself. Hold on here.
Pardon me. There we go. All Centralian. Hang on. I'm going to mute myself a second. Cloggy.
What was he doing? Burping?
No, I don't mute my burps. What manner of madness is this?
Oh, there we go.
Perfect. Oh, yeah. You might have seen a little bit too much uranium this weekend.
Oh, perfect saturation, my guy. What's going
on? Not a lot.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't have YouTube open, BJ, so you'll have to get someone else to confirm what flags. It just says a little AU for me, and the first one was AC.
What happened?
Oh, BJ, when I was talking about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix coming up this weekend, I think she tried to put the flag for Azerbaijan up. But in the StreamYard chat, the emojis, well, flag emojis certainly don't come through. Love hearts and funny faces and whatnot do, but for some reason the flags do not.
Gosh, how long have you been on?
Since 12:32, 14 minutes.
Oh, just 14 minutes? Okay. I was out for a walk with the old fam. We was walking about. Gonna walk off that dinner a little bit, you know?
Yeah, apparently it's good for you. That stuff, that walking, they reckon.
Yeah, man, you gotta have a walk. Family walk, dude. Come on.
You know, I was supposed to start at 12:30, but I was a little bit late. I had to prepare the parentals some food stuffs for luncheon. Oh, the Aussie flag, right. The Aussie flag was designed by a 14-year-old schoolboy. And he was Russian or Polish descent or something. I think he was an Igor or an Ivor or an Ivar, something like that. Child of immigrants designed our flag. They've wanted to change it many times, but I think we'll just stick with it. Even if we become a republic, I think we'll still have the old Union Jack in our flag.
Yeah.
So what's been going on with you in all of your busyness and whatnots?
The thing that's got me currently super pissed off is that there's this hold on, let me send it to myself so I can post it up on the screen here. Let me go here and then no, hold on. General upload 1 2 send. Now I can download them. Hold on. But this, so there was a meme today, right? And it's about, oh, whoops. Hold on. I still have to download it. Save image as. Save. Then I can close this, I think. Yeah. Then I got to go here. Hold on. I just was thinking about it, and I'm sending it to myself so that I can post it up on here. Save. Okay. So here's the image that has been going around. Let me add this image. The image file. Look right here. So this image has been going around of late. Let me make it bigger for you so you can see it here. There. All right. I'm going to go. Where's my StreamYard? Oh, there it is. Okay. So this image has been going around as somebody, and I'll read the quote to you real quick. It's real long. It's like a long diatribe that somebody has posted about the current inflation, right? And it starts out as, this is $155 worth of food. This isn't this 155 isn't even a week's worth of meals. This is $155 got us 3 days of meals, 4 if we have sandwiches one night. This 155 got drinks that will last 3 to 5 days. It got us snacks that will not last, or that will last not a week. Would have gotten us, or this 155 would have gotten us double this a year ago. This 155 is what 13.9% inflation on meats / poultry looks like. This is what 155% on what 7% inflation on veggies looks like. This 155 worth of groceries is what inflation looks like. Yeah, and it just goes on this long diatribe about, to sum it up here at the end, it says, we cannot live like this. While y'all up in your mansions with chefs, we in the trenches set up for failure. Generational wealth is practically non-existent. You can't save a nest egg for emergencies nowadays. They want us to get loans to go into more debt. They've destined people for failure. Okay, and I would like to, we got to get ourselves out the illustrious whiteboard, okay? Because I want to highlight a couple things here today to you and see what you think, because where'd my whiteboard go? I burped. Sorry. Where's
Trying
my
to steal
whiteboard?
my thunder.
Dang it! Where's my whiteboard? I can't go into this 100% because I can't remember where the whiteboard is anymore. I want to screen write, man. Scene? No. Audio file? No. Web page? Text? No. Video? What? Audio? Oh my god! I can't figure out where the. I used to be able to write on the whiteboard, but I don't think I could do that anymore. It might be a widget or something, and I might have uninstalled it. I don't know. But what I can do is bring the arrow in, because I do have the arrow still. Move to top. There. Okay. So, you're down in Australia. Now, I want to highlight something. They mentioned there 3 to 5 days worth of drinks, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's cut off by the corner here, but 5, 6, 12 packs of pop. Okay. That is apparently going to be consumed in 3 to 5 days, which will likely give your whole family diabetes, right? There's a bag of Dum-Dums right here. So just candy, just straight candy. There's Oreos right here, just straight cookies, aka candy, garbage. There's a frozen pizza. There's pre-made biscuits, right? Pre-made mashed potatoes.
Gross.
Macaroni and cheese, Pop-Tarts, Frosted Flakes, Apple Jacks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags of chips, a bag of pre-made beans, or a can of pre-made beans. one tiny package of chicken, some sliced cheese of some varietal. I think that this is deli meat, and I think that this is pre-made potato salad. They didn't even make their own potato salad. Lunchables and cream cheese. I don't know what these two little jars are. This is pre-made Texas toast and Sara Lee bread. I don't know what this package is right here, but this is pre-made ravioli and what looks to be barbecue sauce. Every single item here is a disaster purchase by itself. But for somebody to get up on their high horse and buy canned beans and barbecue sauce, okay, first off, you could have bought dry beans and flavored them with the barbecue sauce, right? No, but they're probably going to put the dum-dums in with the baked beans and then put, I don't know, chips on top of it and call that a meal with wash it down with 4 Mountain Dews. This looks like to be some kind of cranberry juice or something with the inevitable bladder infection or kidney infection or urinary tract infection that you're going to have from drinking all of this pop and eating nothing but chips for the next 3 to 5 days. Like, this is the crap that I have to deal with in the US. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this applies. Does this apply in Australia? Are people this like brain demented? Like, in that post, they complain about how expensive meat and veggies have gotten. There's not even one vegetable in that image of what they bought for groceries. What would it matter? What would it matter how much inflation there is on vegetables? You don't buy them and eat them. It doesn't even apply to what your self-righteous post. This is what inflation looks like. I can only eat 6 bags of potato chips this week.
And was the post completely serious? It wasn't tongue in cheek or anything.
No, this is not tongue in cheek. If it was tongue in cheek, I would have laughed and been like, "Oh my God, you are making fun of actual people that make these posts." This is an actual legitimate post, somebody complaining about inflation and how expensive groceries have gotten.
That's wild.
I do not understand the level of cognitive dissonance that you have to be this out of your mind to think, I bought groceries and here's a picture of it. Like, the assumption there, because it was posted by somebody who is a mom life, like it's a mom group, basically. So the assumption that I have there is that you are taking care of small children, right? This is your plan for taking care of small children, like, and then complaining, and then having the gall to complain about anything that goes on anywhere in the world is just beyond me. Like, 6 12-packs of pop?
Yeah, what's that? 72 cans, or is it 84?
72 cans. Yeah, 72 cans of not even soda, water. Not even like, oh, it's sparkling water. It's nice to have something to sip on with the bubbly. Times are tough, so we got some soda water and we squeeze some lime into it or something, right? Not even that. It's like, oh no, I'm hanging out, drinking, I'm pounding Mountain Dews and eating potato chips and just eating trash and then complaining about inflation. Like, I don't even know. It hurts my brain. It hurts my brain, and I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to talk about this on Friday because the absurdity of how Americans are acting right now is it's beyond me. Like,
buy some potatoes and make your own chips.
These are the same people that claimed like having to wear a mask at the store was like the Holocaust, right? Like, this is how the Jews were treated during the Holocaust, right? You're like, well, I guess maybe if you have eaten nothing but sugar and potato chips for the last 5, 10, 20 years, maybe your brain is so broken that that's how you think now, right? Like, this is what they went through. Mild inconvenience.
Too cooly for schooly. How the devil are you?
it's unbearable. It's frighteningly unbearable. And I understand the inflation sucks. My bills have been high, right? But it's insane, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, no. If you're going to obviously buy heavily processed foods, that's probably where you're going to pay for your inflation the most, isn't it?
Right. And then wonder why you feel like garbage. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Humans, eh?
I don't know. That's
What a
pissing me off.
lucky bunch we are.
Well, I just wanted to get all the people out of here before we talk about Star Wars and the boys. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
So did you go away, mate? You frightful little thing. Did you watch the 3 episodes that were put out?
Yeah, both.
Both 3 of them. Oh, you meant of Obi-Wan as well.
Obi-Wan and the boys. Yep, I'm caught up, which is good.
Yeah. Who said before that they hadn't watched the boys yet? That was you know, we probably will talk some spoilers. I probably should have done a rewatch as well. I think when I finished the 3rd episode of the boys, it was like 2:00 in the morning, 4 or 5 nights ago.
Yeah.
Mate, I don't want you in my face. Most fearless little bug, I swear. I'd love to know what they are. Some type of fly. They sit high up on legs and they just sit there looking at your face, and then they'll jump on your face. They don't care. You wave your hand around at them like you're shooing a fly, and they just go, watch your hand. No fear. It could be aliens in indestructible spacesuits.
It's likely aliens, would be my guess.
I mean, it looks very alien. Very, very much looks like an alien. G'day again, Vidra. Did you leave the room when I said hi before? Everything is better with an Aussie accent.
It's generally true.
Lots of stuff is.
It depends on the Aussie accent, though. Some of those, there's some Aussie accents that are like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you've gone all the way? You've gone all the way. You're back around again. You know, like what are you doing? Calm it down.
As Aussie as you can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certainly some fun tongues, some dialects that we've got.
Well, yeah, Americans definitely have that too. So it's not a rarity. Everybody has it.
I find it
the one that I'd be interested, the one that I've always been interested to find out if there's is there a Japanese dialect that sounds like hillbillies? You know,
right?
Is there? Because I mean, it's like they're so regimented as far as like their language and writing and sentence structure and all that stuff goes. I wonder if there's like a hillbilly Japanese. I would be interested.
Likewise.
Huawei's here. Good. Nasally in any accent can be too much. And I'm sorry. I had a cold. I had like a hardcore cold last week. I caught it from Olivia. Olivia was sick. And then, come Saturday, I was just like Friday I sucked. Saturday was like, oh God. And I'm like better now, but there is like so much pollen and cottonwood in the air right now. It is like all day today, like oh God, what is going on? Like, I don't know. It looks like it's mildly snowing outside while being sunny and warm. That's how much cottonwood. Just these little floof balls floating around everywhere. And then the evergreen trees are going. So the evergreen trees are going too. And so, you get out from work, and as you Aussies would say, your windscreen, which is bizarre, your windshield. Who wants a windscreen when you can have a shield, bro? That's all I'm saying. You get out and it's all dusty. Your whole thing is dusty. What are you doing? What happened? Are you under attack? Oh, is that one of those weird flying ant things? What is that?
That's the little bug that I think's an alien.
Did it bite you?
No, I don't think it has bitey things.
Well, that's
But
good.
when they look that weird, you never really want to find out unless you're Coyote. What's he called? Peterson. Is that his name? Yeah, that's the dude who likes.
You want to be
getting
filmed
bit.
though if you're that guy. There's
Yeah,
no camera
well,
around. He's just getting bug bit for no reason, right?
maybe. Yeah. Let's go and
Yeah,
stealth
BJ,
mode
I
now.
wish it was just oak and maple here. But man, we've got cottonwood, we've got pine wood, we've got oak, we've got maple, we've got cedar, we've got birch. I don't know. Dogwood. We have freaking dogwood down the street. I mean, it's going wild out here. The trees, boys, I tell you, the trees are rambunctious in my part of the world. And right now they're all breeding. They're all traveling upstream trying to breed with each other.
G'day, Atkins. Ian Atkins. How you going? I haven't broken any computers with guitars. In fact,
That's
that
good.
computer that I threw my guitar at still works to this very day. Well, I assume so. I haven't switched it on for 12 months. There he is.
Well, like living in the Evergreen State is wonderful. I love it. But there are certain times out of the year where you're like, could the trees just stop jizzing all over the place? Basically, they're pollinating and they're 200 feet tall. They're pollinating and they're wicked tall, bro, and big.
That's quite a dispersion range.
Yeah, they're getting rambunctious, out of control. Oh, we got the grass pollen too. Yeah, we got all that. Scotch broom is a good one. I don't even know. What is Scotch broom supposed to be? What is this plant supposed to be called? Scotch broom, Washington. What the hell is this plant? Cistus. So, how do you say that?
I've not even heard of a Scotch broom.
Scoparius. Sorry, Scoparius. Here, I'll put it in the chat so you guys can look up this devil bush. So, the idiots 100 years ago, when 70 years ago, when they were building the interstates and everything, what they did was they just bulldozed a big strips of land, right, to build giant roads. And in their infinite wisdom, they decided, hey, you know what? It would be good for erosion control on the side of the freeway everywhere is this stupid plant from Europe. And you know what we should do? You know what we should do, guys? We should plant it everywhere on the side of the freaking road. So now this dumb plant shows up and it's everywhere. It's super invasive and it all blooms at the same time and it goes buck wild and it has been just known to cause all sorts of people to have allergy problems. It's like, I'm not even an allergy guy. And it's like, right now it's bugging me. So yeah. Although maybe I'm becoming an allergy guy in my old age as I weaken from the years of being attacked.
It's quite possible.
It looks like a weird mosquito, like a weird mosquito. What is that?
Yeah, it just doesn't have a
beak.
Yeah, a beak. I was going to say a proboscis, but a beak's probably more accurate.
Oh yeah, Punchy Paints has a good point. Cheatgrass was brought in by the railroad and it's out of control now. Yep, and it doesn't root properly. It has like super shallow rooting and causes all sorts of issues.
G'day, Pam.
Because the traditional plains grass actually has like a super deep root and stops topsoil erosion, but that stupid cheatgrass sucks because its roots are only like this deep as opposed to like 5 feet deep. Yeah, it's dumb.
Bugs everywhere.
Oh my God, guys. Do we have 1 million people watching right now? We got to hit 1 million likes tonight, guys. So if we hit 1 million likes, Blacky will play you a song on his guitar. If we don't, you know what's going to happen? Farts and burps. That's it. Farts and burps. And that's how it goes, dude. I'm sorry. It is prohibited to transport, buy, sell, offer for sale, or distribute these plants. This plant is illegal now, even though there's nothing you can do about it. It sucks. I hate it. This is the worst.
G'day, Snoochie Booch. How's it going? Lonnie, how you going? Joe Stan, how are you? No, mate, we're only half an hour in or so. All good, plenty of time. Huawei says, I'm happy with the farts and burps and the occasional crikey.
Yeah, but what about 1 million likes, dude? We have rules around here, man. 1 million likes.
1 million likes.
1 million. All right, man. What are your deep thoughts about Obi-Wan's Kenobis so far? Where are you at?
I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it very much. I think it's good stuff. Yeah, I'm liking the retelling. I'm liking that one of the writers has had to come out and explain, or not really explain, but tell people to be patient about about the Grand Inquisitor's death.
Oh yeah, I'm sure at some point. I'm sure at some point the Grand Inquisitor shall return. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or did he return already?
No, he hasn't returned as yet.
Returned. Okay. That might have been a weird dream I had.
He's going to be a very cranky boy when he wakes up, though.
Who speaks Japanese? Does somebody speak Japanese?
Now, Vince is saying, if only BJ spoke Japanese, you could be one of Joel's Japanese hillbillies.
That'd be hot. I'd be into that.
Probably just missed an opportunity to let little mate bite me. I think he landed in my eye.
Oh, delightful. Quite delightful.
Yeah, no, I think it's telling a good story, filling in some gaps. I'll keep getting tighter trousers every time there's hints made at Vader. And I think it was at the end of the 3rd episode. Was that our first seeing of Vader in this timeline instead of in flashbacks and whatnot?
Yeah, but he did the whole suit up. He did the whole suit up and he attacked Obi-Wan. And they had a sword fight. Which I would have to say is one of the... it's definitely one of the points of continuity that does not make a lot of sense to me, where it seems like neither of them really know how to sword fight anymore, even though that seems to be one of the few things that they spent the entirety of their lives training to do. But yeah, I don't know. It was very I
would imagine
very, very reminiscent of the lightsaber battle on the Death Star, the first one, where it was sort of like, I've got a lightsaber. Let's fight a little. Oh yeah, well I'm done. Okay, and now I'm a ghost. Yeah, which I thought was weird because you really, to me, I was really hoping for something to redeem the lava fight.
Well, you got to think that Obi-Wan's been 10 years without practicing any sword fighting. He's had to keep that very secret. So, I would imagine that he's quite rusty. And maybe
here's the thing. Like, I would imagine that he was rusty, sure, but like, if he was like so dramatically rusty, you would think that Darth Vader would just disarm him and like be done
Finish
with it.
him off. Hmm.
Like, well, now you're captured, and I'm gonna torture you forever now, right?
Yeah, well,
But
considering
instead, that one chick like just snipered one stormtrooper, which I have no idea why Darth Vader would even care. Like, why would he? Why would they take pause? That whole part made no sense to me. It's like somebody sniped one of the stormtroopers. Everyone stop and look around. Like, what? Like, and why would Darth Vader stop? Like, well, this thing is a little bit on fire on the ground here, so I shall just walk away now after waiting for 10 years, living in a hyperbaric chamber and psychotically like hurtful machinery parts, and wife's dead and all that, and he's like, but he's on the other side of that fire. I guess I'll just leave because I can't. It's not like I could just walk around the fire or through it, or I don't know, force jump over it, or use the force to put the fire out. I just was like, he just went that way now. He just
you
was
can come
like,
around and get involved if you like.
I shall turn around and walk the other direction on this useless planet, which the only reason he's on that planet was to stab Obi-Wan and burn him and stuff, right? Like,
Very valid point of view.
seems weird. Like, why did he just leave? Like, I've got other appointments. I must go.
Hmm.
I didn't put my arms and legs on to just do this, except the story was like, yeah, that was basically the only reason he did put on his arms and legs and his suit and all that and flew out there. And then I guess he just was like, well, there's like 30 feet. It's like maybe 40 feet of fire here. I'm going to leave.
Yeah, clearly I should have done a rewatch because I'm missing so many of the finer points.
Just the whole time I was going like, what? Why are they leaving? I mean, they did a wide shot and showed that it's just this little area that's on fire, and all the other Jedi are dead except for Palpatine, the Sith.
Potentially a handful of unknowns.
Yeah, because the only other Sith is Palpatine, right? And then just a handful of unknowns. So he should have like pretty strong force powers now. And as we've seen in the comic books, he pretty much just goes around obliterating everybody, right? Like, I was left in sort of disbelief that there wasn't like some real chaotic thing that like threw off Vader or something, like.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
The
like
thing to me. I mean, other than like the camera crew was there filming it, so I mean, maybe Vader knows that the camera crew is there, and he's like, for the suspense, I won't walk around behind the director and stab Obi-Wan with my power because that would be bad, right?
G'day, Drama D. Did I say hi to Drama D? I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, Top Gun 2 was great. I like Top Gun 2. It was fun. A lot of sticky points in that movie, but it's not intended to be a real thinker. It's things are blowing up and people's shirts are missing, and Jennifer Connelly and motorcycles and jets. Like it's gonna be wild.
All the good things.
All the good things. A lot of Kenny Loggins. A lot of Kenny Loggins. Thick guitar tracks.
Here is a finer point that I missed, but how after finding the cave did she instantly end up at the end of the cave waiting? What's that in reference to?
Yeah, the Inquisitor who like found the cave that they were already running down, and then somehow the Inquisitor just found the end of the cave, murdered the pilot that was waiting there, and then Leia comes running out and is like, "Oh, you're not the pilot." And then, well, they're captured. So How'd they go to the end of the cave? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I assumed that there would have been a pursuit, like I'm running after you. I'm running after you. I'm coming closer and closer and closer. And then just by the nick of time, they got through a door or something, But I
definitely got
didn't
to do a
understand how
rewatch.
the Inquisitor, like they jumped to the end of the tunnel somehow. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because I look forward to dark and spooky chase scenes down a cave tunnel or something like that. I like that kind of, you might get got.
Sure, it's exactly
Now,
the
the issue that I have here, right? The big issue that I have with doing these flashbacks is the exact same issue that I had with the prequel, right? You know who lives and who dies, right? So it does not matter how excited you get. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi does not die now because he's later, right? Princess Leia does not die now. She somehow escapes this caper because she's in the other movies that are later than this, right? The Titanic, in fact, is going to sink during this movie, right? Like, I just, it's like making an Abraham Lincoln document, or you make a thing about Abe Lincoln, right? And at the end, he gets shot in the theater, and you go like, yeah, because that's what happened. And you're like, Abe Lincoln's not going to escape this because he gets shot and then he dies, and that's what happened, right? Now, if you want to make Abe Lincoln vampire hunter, right? Now that is a wild caper. You have no idea what's going to happen because Abraham Lincoln was not a vampire hunter, so you don't know. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
I do.
Maybe the bullet was actually a silver bullet later on, and then you find out a whole bunch of information that you didn't know. You didn't know about Abraham Lincoln. You know what I mean?
I do like a daily online trivia thing, and there's a question that pops up occasionally, and it's what was Abraham Lincoln's profession before becoming president? And the options are like lawyer, doctor, policeman, or vampire hunter.
Yeah, it was vampire hunter because he was none of those other things. The police weren't invented, so he couldn't have been a policeman. Lawyers were a joke, so he obviously wasn't a lawyer. And doctor, like, we would have known.
Yeah,
if he was a
can't
doctor. So obviously, it has to be vampire hunter, right?
I can't remember what the other two actually were, but for some reason, it only accepts lawyer as the right answer.
What?
Not vampire hunter, unfortunately.
Not true. He came from a one-room schoolhouse. He barely knew how to read, and yes, he air quote became a lawyer later in life. But that's, we can't really trust that. It's a cover-up. Okay, they're just covering up the fact that he was a vampire hunter because they don't want you to know the vampires are real. And as Huawei says, it's Morbin time. It's true. Did anybody hear about Sony re-releasing Mobius? Did you hear about that?
No.
So everybody's been making fun of Mobius. I haven't even gone to go see that movie because it was so... people I trust were like, yeah, don't waste your $20 going to see this dumpster fire. And I was like, okay. And then I saw some reviews of it, and I was like, oh my God. I'm glad I didn't go waste my time. But people have been making fun of it so much that people have been memeing about it that it's Morbin time, right? And the meme has gotten so popular. Sony, in their infinite stupidity, re-released Morbius into 1,000 theaters. And I believe, I forget how much it made. Out of 1,000 theaters, I think it made like $200,000 over the weekend that it was re-released.
What did they change? Did they change anything, or they just did a re-release to try and get more hype about it?
So no, they put it back into the theater. Okay, so you know how it
Maybe if the meme
Okay, so you know how it
became
was
big,
in
they would cash
theaters,
in on that.
and it did terribly in theaters.
Yeah.
It was working its way out of the theaters, and people were making fun of it with memes, right? So Sony, the company,
Are they trying to cash in on the popularity of the memes going around?
well, they just thought, oh, everyone's memeing about it. They must love this. Everybody loves it. Look, it's it's trending, right? Making fun of Morbius was trending, and they were like, oh my god, people must want to go see it. So they put it back into 1,000 theaters for the weekend. The re-release, the movie brought in only about $300,000, approximately $300 per theater, right? Which is over a whole weekend. Oh my god, it's insane. Like, I forget how much it costs for you to re-release a movie into a theater, but it's something like $1,000 a theater at $1,200 or something like that a theater. So they just basically threw however many millions of dollars out the window, re-releasing a movie because people were memeing on it that they thought it was so popular. Like, I just don't understand what is wrong with these brain broken people.
I've got to go do a quick job. I'll be right back.
I'm like, if you want to make something that doesn't make any money, give me like $3 million and I'll make a show, and I'll have like 10,000 people who will watch it or something like that. You know, it won't make your money back, but at least you'll get something out of it. You know, I'll have made some episodes for you, babe. You okay? The dog is having an issue. The dog is so fat back here right now. Oh, you heard me talking about her. She's roly-poly.
Did you flop? You all right? Did we walk your little dachshund legs off?
We took the dog for a walk, and the dog is having a funny time. What's BJ doing? I love Chris Pratt, so I really want to binge it someday. Binge what? Oh, The Office? I don't think that The Office is overrated, but if you go into it thinking it's the funniest thing since sliced bread, you might be let down. But it honestly is a pretty good show, and it has a lot of callback jokes, so it is kind of worthwhile to. If you were gonna watch The Office, it's probably better to have binged it because you'll be in on the season by season jokes. So I could recommend it. I could definitely recommend checking out The Office if you've never seen it before. It actually might even be funnier to watch the original Office first. I think it's only 2 seasons. Like Ricky Gervais is in it. He wrote it. He's the guy who came up with the idea for The Office and everything. And then the American version has a bunch of people you'd recognize, but I think it's worthwhile. I don't think it deserves the level of praise that a lot of people give it, though, that it's like the most genius thing ever. I think it's funny. But there certainly are a lot of parts of it that I'm like, yeah, okay.
Do you mean the American one or the original one?
And the ending leaves a lot to be desired.
Oh, nice. I thought it must have been a belt buckle.
The actual bag.
Speaking of Chris Pratt, there's a new Jurassic Park coming out, and I just don't even know if I can. I don't even know if I can trust those movies at all. They're just so bad. I don't think I'm going to see that in the theater. Hey, you have a new what, belt buckle?
New Republic badge.
That's what I thought it was a belt buckle, but it's a, what did you say?
Marshal of the New Republic badge.
Marshal of the New Republic badge.
Oh,
Very
Marshall
nice.
badge. All right. I'm into it.
We see it because the X-Wing pilot gives it to Cara Dune. But I have to assume that Cobb Vanth also has one because he's been given the official belt buckle. And that's why he's a marshal instead of he self-proclaims himself to be a
Sheriff, yeah, right.
before he becomes an official marshal.
Intriguing. If you didn't notice, Brett's here, ladies and gentlemen. You remember Brett? Oh, you can get rid of that big
Indeed.
pole if you want.
Does you want to talk about Obi-Wan and whatnot?
No, I haven't rewatched.
Ah.
No, I'll just sit off screen today. But I do agree with the point that you were making when I arrived not so long ago about that scene with the fire on the ground. Absolutely agree with you.
What's that?
I absolutely agree with your thoughts on that scene with Vader trying to face down Obi-Wan across the flames, and well, then he just walks away.
Yeah, that whole thing makes no sense to me other than the director was there and being like, hey, get out of here. We have more episodes.
I agree.
You know,
even if Obi-Wan Kenobi has cut himself off from the Force, we know that Vader has not, and so we should have actually seen some almost stupefying Force movements out of him as a figure to try and get Obi-Wan. And yeah, we should have seen Obi-Wan somehow survive.
Yeah, I mean, he should have something goofy should have had. Well, not goofy is not the right word to put it. But like,
goofy,
if they were like, let's say they were up on let's say they were on a scaffolding or something, and the scaffolding broke, and then he like tumbled way down some kind of sandy embankment or something, and then at the bottom,
I like it.
Somebody picked him up real quick and they flew away, or you know. But the weird part is like Vader's just like, nah, I guess I'll leave now. But this should be like full power Vader, because he's supposed to be diminished by the time, well, by like later when he's encountering Luke. Not early encountering Luke, but like later encountering Luke, he's sort of diminished a bit, right? He's obviously, you know, when they take his helmet off, he's like, he's old, he's falling apart. Like there's just not a lot left. But right now should just be like full power Captain Insano, you know, Sith. Like there should be no holding back, or probably you would imagine that he probably has like no regard for his own safety at this point. Because what are you concerned about losing your legs or something? They're already gone. Like, you know,
like, we've already seen him being utterly submerged in lava and surviving. And so I've just reread Star Wars Darth Vader, the Dark Lord of the Sith in Marvel, the 25 issues that shows from him waking up in the suit and being a bit angry, and ends with him creating Fortress Vader and going into, well, what the Jedi call the world between worlds, because he wants to bring Padme back. But she doesn't want to see what has become from what she believes is after the death of Anakin Skywalker. Anyway, so we've seen that Darth Vader be absolutely unstoppable and just teach himself new powers again and again and again. And yet he looks at Obi-Wan and just sort of freezes. I think maybe he lost his shit.
I'm hoping that, like, and I really, it's not a strong hope. I really doubt that they're gonna rectify it in any way. But the idea, I think that, like, if you make that decision, that in the next episode there has to be some sort of justification for why he's like, well, I wait till next week, and I have a new servo in my leg. Something was wrong, you know. Or he's like, I had a vision. Maybe he had a vision. Maybe he had a Force vision that says, "Don't kill Obi-Wan right now." Maybe it's Mace Windu from the limbo. You know, whatever the limbo is that the Force sensitives end up in, tells him, "Don't kill him now." You know, or something. I don't know, but. Currently, the way that they left it is like, what the hell? Like you have the strongest, because I don't know if on the super nerd rankings of Sith where Darth Vader comes in as far as like power goes, but right now he should be the uncontested maniac murderer of the Sith with nobody impeding him.
In canon, I agree, because we haven't yet been given enough details about the ancient history of all those other Sith yet in canon. So
Yeah,
in canon,
that's true.
it has to be Vader at the top.
Yeah, I think and it seemed to me it really took me out of it, going like, what the like something crazy should happen to get Vader to turn away, and it's just like, well,
I agree.
somebody's helping him. Well, shoot, I guess I gotta go over there now. I heard that they
But I
have
am hoping we are going to see some sort of, like astral projection relationship between them, because we both know that they've been meditating on, the cosmic force in order to pierce the veil beyond life and death. And, I think they should bump into each other astrally.
right.
And maybe that happened in that moment, and we're going to see that, next week, this week, tonight.
Right. Well, I think that the so far the 3 episodes have sort of been setting the stage as like Obi-Wan has refused. He's just done nothing with the Force. He's like staying away from touching the Force because he's afraid it will.
But he's
draw
still
them.
calling out to Qui-Gon, so he must still be in touch with the cosmic force if he expects to hear Qui-Gon's voice.
Well, I think that there was an instruction for him to call out to Qui-Gon, but I think so far he's refused it. Or was there?
You think it hasn't happened yet? Yeah, good point.
Yeah. I think from what the storyline that they've put out, it seems to me like he's supposed to be sort of bottom of the barrel drunk right now or something, or like
Right.
whatever our world version of it is, like somebody that's rock bottom and has just given up on everything. And has been like, I haven't touched the Force or anything this whole
The Jedi
time.
drop out.
Yeah, I think, but I'm not really sure.
And Luke repeats the same mistake.
Well, Luke's a disaster. He always is, and I don't think a lot of people that seem to write him seem to have like a real good. Well, as far as the shows and movies go, I don't think that anybody has like a real strong interpretation of like Luke the character.
I'm looking forward to a strong characterization of him next month in the upcoming Shadow of the Sith novel.
Okay.
Of Luke.
Yeah, Luke and Lando have an adventure together. I'm absolutely certain that Ben Solo is a character, but maybe not in the central drama. And Luke is searching for Exegol. He knows that the Sith have recreated something out there, and I assume they know it's in the unknown regions. And him and Lando go on an adventure hunting for Exegol.
You know what's weird?
By the way,
you know what's weird is like when the prequel series came out, I didn't think that there was any way that they could have possibly when it came out. So now with the 7, 8, and 9 having come out and just having really analyzed how bad those 3 movies were, I like the prequel now. I didn't think that there would have been any way that somebody could have gone back and added.
I sense that that's a general trend, actually.
It's weird. It's so weird. I don't think that there's any other like monumental series like that where something that came out that was perceived to be so bad, because of course everyone is so toxic to like there's politics, and it's like, yeah, but that's what this universe is.
I agree with all the drama and the characters,
right?
But just the way they dramatically filmed it is atrocious. As a movie,
I think they got lost.
Very much.
I think they got lost in the we're making this, and the big folly with the prequels is I hadn't thought about this until I went back and watched them again. It's the dialogue. The dialogue is written by somebody with basically Asperger's or whatever, has never had like a real conversation with another human other than his wife and maybe his kids or something.
Delivered well.
Right. And that's George Lucas. He's just so bad at writing dialogue. It's like the sand is so, I don't like it. It gets in my
That became
boots.
one of the most famous memes of the whole prequel era, didn't it?
Oh, look, this guy's about to have sex with somebody 20 years older than him because of this sand commentary about the sandy butt crack and boots or whatever. Like it did to me, it didn't it's the dialogue is just so screwed up. But I liked the fact that you started to understand that like all the inner workings of the universe made sense with, well, we've got this government and we're trying to do this and these guys are trying to do that, and you know,
I agree. And
like,
the
I liked all that. It's the dialogue that fucks it up. And it, like the part where Darth Vader is revealed, he does it's a Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein's monster. He literally is like, "Duh!" Like as if the lightning bolt just came down from the clock tower.
It was like Marty Feld's doing Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
all George Lucas, right?
Yeah,
that's 100%.
That's one of the worst of all Star Wars scenes for sure.
Yeah,
it's been redone in that Marvel comic I referred to, Dark Lord of the Sith. It's one of the, the opening scene, and it's redone. I feel quite well.
Yeah, but it's like I wouldn't have thought. I wouldn't have thought. Boy, howdy, the prequels are definitely better than some of the other Star Wars stuff until 7, 8, 9 came out, and I was just like, I guess this universe is just whatever you want. Then a thing just happens, you know. Like I don't know. Those were just so.
Yeah, there's just obviously no unifying vision for the dramatic content that they wanted that trilogy to be.
No,
I feel, and so each movie individually completely failed to drag me along in that dramatic sense that I want movies to do.
Yeah, and Rian Johnson just fucked it up. Like, just I don't know. Like, I don't even know if he'd read us. Has he even seen Star Wars before, or was he just like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna wing it, dude. We're gonna do some stuff, and then things will happen." And oh, it ruined the whole universe. Okay, cool.
All three movies felt like that they were just winging it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it felt like that.
Yeah, but I do like this new. I do like the new content that's coming out. Like, I have issues with things, like the mod squad, the mod bikes, the modsters in Book of Boba Fett. It's like,
I was a teenage mod, so I had a bit of a moment about that.
I thought that they were when they were introduced, it made me laugh. Oh,
I think we were supposed to.
When they were introduced, it made me laugh because it's like, oh, they're the mods. I get it. They're kind of punk rock kids. Yeah. They modify themselves. It makes sense.
And they never once got any more serious than that. So I think we were just supposed to laugh at them.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, they all ride like gleamingly clean speeder bikes that are surprisingly slower than a person running, and it was like,
that's
great.
Because they're teenagers rebelling against George Lucas's used universe. Oh, fuck you, George. We're gonna go shiny.
Yeah, we're going shiny. We're cleaning everything on this dust planet with no water to the point where you're in debt to mobsters for what? Like I forget what they say. It was like 500 cc's of water or whatever the fuck it was. It was like 2 jugs of water and a mobster's gonna murder you or whatever. But we're gonna clean everything head to toe on our bikes here. It just. And it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. Like, did somebody write it down and then just go like, "Yep, that's what we're doing. Here's $5 million." We deserve
much better side characters in this new age of the TV series.
You could easily just make whatever character. Like, they went super deep into the Sand People there for a minute, and then just murdered them all.
Yeah,
right. Like, you could have gone mildly deep in with the mod squad and then just murdered all of them and no one would have cared. Like, none of those characters are coming back next season, or I hope not. I hope they're all dead. I wish death on nobody, but like, I hope those characters.
They're absolutely going to bring Chrysanthemum back.
Great, fantastic. It'll be amazing. I'm sure it'll make a whole lot of sense. But I mean, like, I have nitpicky stuff, but I still love it. I hope everybody understands that. Like, I still love it. I think it's great, but
I feel very much the same.
You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, they do an homage to or what is it? Arabian Nights, Lawrence of Arabia. They did an homage to Lawrence of Arabia with the
film.
With the train and them ambushing the train.
Oh, yes.
That scene is fucking amazing. And then like I don't know, 60 seconds later, they're like, "Hey, look, I got a button that lights up." and you're like, what? How did you go from check out? Oh, whoa, we're going deep into cinematic history to like really impress you with like our knowledge and our
Yes.
ability to do all this stuff, and then it's like, hey guys, I shined my bike real good, you know, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what?
Yeah, good
You
point.
know, and then you go into the lore of the Sand
That was
People,
like
and it's like,
the theme of
well,
the
they were
train.
all murdered by somebody that was introduced for 5 seconds, like 3 episodes ago. They were all murdered by them, and it was a real thing that happened. But they're all dead, and we didn't. Yeah, it's just they're just all dead now. Okay, you know, and it's really. I
They've
don't
given
know
their
what it
gaffy
is.
stick
Is
dance to
it
the universe now. It's a thing.
well, it's just the weird thing about it is like is there too many chefs in the kitchen? Is it
Yeah, maybe.
I don't is there not enough chefs in the kitchen? Is there not enough? I don't know what it is. I wish I could go behind the scenes and for a day and just go you
Because-
need these 3 people to just fuck off. Like you just need them to go away. They're screwing it up.
Is it
You know.
because they're using the different directors for each episode rather than having? Well, no, Book of Boba Fett was different, and yet it turned out maybe the worst. But
Well,
should it just be one director per series?
Well,
That's what
the
they're
problem with
Yes,
the
you're
just
right.
one
Yeah.
director thing, and actually Blacky and I were talking about this a while ago, is that bringing in other directors is fantastic. It's a fantastic idea. Robert Rodriguez is an idiot, and he shouldn't be involved in anything unless it's a zombie movie that
Or putting
somebody
out
wrote in somebody
a
wrote in
blues
the
album
70s.
with Temuera.
What's that?
Putting out a blues guitar album with Temuera Morrison.
Probably not even doing that. I don't even think he should be involved in that. I mean, he should just be only doing, you know, remake movies from the 70s with girls' boobs and all sorts of black exploitation and nonsense. Just do that. Stay over there. Don't come into Star Wars. Just go away. But bringing in other directors is actually a great. It's actually a great addition because of the studio that they have to film in. It can be used 12 months out of the year. It's not.
I see. Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be out in Saudi Arabia trying to shoot in the desert, or you know, you don't have to be in Australia, and then you don't have to be in New Zealand, and then you don't have to fly all around the world to do all this stuff. You can actually just be making it in, you know, in that studio that they have now. I forget the name of it, but it has these projector walls and all this stuff, and it works really well. Volume, yeah, that's what it's called. With that, you can really expand and kind of work on shows like Ahsoka that probably wouldn't exist if you didn't have a director team that you could put from here to there to here to there, because those directors, you know, you can't assume that you're going to have Jon Favreau working 12 months out of the year, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
they're going to have other stuff going on.
even if you tried to sign him on, he wouldn't work 12 months out of the year. He'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm here for 3
That's
months,
good.
and then the other 9 months I'm out eating sandwiches and laying on the beach because I'm not going to do
'Cause
that,
I can.
right? Yeah,
G'day,
and
anyway, mate.
so it makes sense to bring in people like Taika Waititi, and then what's her name? The red-haired lady. I don't know. I forget her name.
Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ron
the Howard.
Gordon.
One of the Howards. But like you bring in all of these really solid directors that you know aren't going to leak things. They aren't going to really go insane. Robert Rodriguez, clearly bad idea. Apparently he gave them a lot of money, so that might have been the issue. But you bring in all these other directors, you can continue to work on these other series that we all want to see that probably would never happen. Like there's an Andor series coming out, right?
Oh yeah, that looks really good from the trailer that's recently come out.
Yeah, and so
and that's going to be a very long series compared to what we've been seeing. What I'd call miniseries, 6 episodes.
Right. You know, because I think the Andor series is strictly it's mostly just characters we've never seen before, right?
No, it'll be maybe the opposite, because
Okay.
It's Captain Cassian Andor, who we already know his fate, and
Right.
Senator Mon Mothma are going to be sort of heading the dramatic directions, I believe. It's Cassian's show.
Right.
And
so
it
it's
is
sort of
going
the
to
making
be-
of it's the making of him, right?
Yeah. You know, he
Okay,
told
okay.
us in Rogue One, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. And he
Right.
dies when he's 26 years old. So therefore, he started in the Clone Wars. And in fact, he was working for the Separatists when he was first a guerrilla fighter. But we will see him in this series start off at exactly the same moment that Star Wars Rebels Season 1 starts. So I'm assuming we're going to see an overlap of the dramatic events. Because in Season 1 of Rebels, the Rebel Ghost crew go and extract Mon Mothma once she makes her statement to the Senate that she is leaving and opposing the Empire. So Andor is surely going to be involved with that.
Right.
And then, so that's 24 episodes in the first series is going to be that first year. And then the second series of 24 episodes is going to take us right up to Rogue One.
Okay. That makes, and see, like, I guess ultimately my point, so I try not to get exposed to too much ahead of time, but
like Blacky.
But that does make sense. Yeah, but ultimately my point is that like that show would not happen whatsoever if you stuck with just Filoni and and Favreau, right? Because you're like, this is not a workload that they could handle at all. So you do have to bring in like a good writing team, and then the writing team can go, here's what we're presenting to Dave and John, and then Dave and John can approve it or make changes or whatever, send them back or whatever they got to do to sort of solidify like this is the storyline. And which is the weird thing, because I did see an interview with Jon Favreau the other day where he was talking about which is like, unfortunately, it's like too much information, but you start to realize where he goes, Dave's working on Ahsoka, and then he's going like, well, whatever he does with Ahsoka is what's writing season 4 of The Mandalorian, which I'm working on right now. Obviously, most people think he accidentally said that he's working on that. But
and the new one with the teenagers.
But I think that sort of shows how you get these little continuity follies and things that don't make a lot of sense, is that you got two people working really hard trying to keep all of these plates spinning, and hopefully if you bring in other people like Taika Waititi and Bryce Dallas Howard and these kind of big names that you do respect, and they read the script and go like, hey, wait a minute, this happened in season 2, what are you doing, you know? And I just think that that's really the only way to feasibly like flesh out with doing a lot of these shows, and then also figuring out which ones work and which ones don't, and how to move
I agree
forward.
with you, but also I think we need to have faith in the Lucasfilm story group are surely vetting any of these story ideas before they can go ahead. And so, you know, Pablo Hidalgo and all those great law masters should surely be working on top of all these issues also. And I agree with the mix of the directors helps at that level of production as well.
Right. But I think like one of the big issues is that I'm not sure that those story writers have the influence that we think that they do within Disney, right? Because ultimately, you know, writers are respected, but only to a point.
Sure.
And if you're going to a studio head and going like, hey, sir, I'm a writer and I wrote this thing and I think it's really important, blah, blah, blah. Like they'll probably
they can circumvent.
Like, no, we're doing this. Hold on, my daughter's here.
Story group.
What are you doing, Bear? Can you come up and say night? Give me a big hug. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? You want to say hi? We could do that tomorrow. Come give me a big hug.
G'day, Jack and Dan and Fisherman.
Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
How are you? Are you good?
Good.
Very good. Excellent. That's good to hear.
Are you about ready to go night night?
Mm-hmm.
What do you smell like? What were you eating?
Uh,
What were you eating?
I'm not gonna tell you.
I can smell it.
She says she's not going to tell you.
Somebody had a cookie.
A
I
cookie.
didn't have.
What was it? Oh, strawberry shortcake.
Uh-huh.
Oh, strawberry
That
shortcake.
was I was not gonna tell you. Sorry, shortcake I ate.
Yeah. You had some strawberry shortcake. Was it yummy?
Mm-hmm.
Did it have
What even is
whipped cream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hello.
Can you sing for him?
Can I
Seriously,
sing? What are we gonna
can-
sing? What do you want to sing?
ABC. You sing ABC.
You want me to sing ABCs?
Mm-hmm.
A B C D E F G H I J. You gotta stop pushing buttons, honey. No. Mm-mm. No. Stop. Please stop. Yeah, I understand you like that. Please don't. Mm-mm.
Okay.
All
Hey,
right.
thank you. Hey. You promised.
Hey, you wanted to
You
sing.
promised no fuss tonight.
You said no fuss.
Come on.
You wanted to sing. Can you sing?
Where'd it go?
A B C D
E
E F G
H I J K
L
L
M N O P
E
Q R S T U V W X Y and Z. ABCs. Next time, won't you be super nervous and sing with me? Say night night. Night night.
No.
Give me a big kiss. Big kiss. No?
Okay.
Okay.
Story
Go with
time.
Mama.
Come on.
Story time.
Mama's got a new book. We've got a new book.
Bye, Vicky.
right.
Bye, Vicky.
We did some singing time. We did some singing, bro.
It's very nice. Very, very good.
What's that?
I said it's very nice. It was very entertaining.
It's pretty good. Hopefully, you guys know some ABCs now, and you guys are doing good.
I certainly learnt a thing. No, this is a Jack and Dern asking me if it's a Napalm Death shirt. It's an In-Death shirt.
I have to admit, I thought it was a Napalm Death shirt also.
Well, I have a strange feeling that they potentially might have stolen some of their, inspiration for their logo from Napalm Death. They're a Brisbane heavy, well, I'd probably call them a death metal band. They're quite heavy and a bit of that stuff.
Little Cookie Monster.
They were mates of a mate of mine in Brisbane. And yeah, they changed from being a death metal band called In Death,
right,
to they changed their name to Nudge from Hey Dad and became a comedy metal band. Hey Dad was a TV show in the 80s in Australia, and Nudge was a character on it, so they called their band Nudge from Hey Dad and sang funny songs. Good wholesome content on Blackies. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. It generally takes a child to bring the content to a wholesome level. I'll wait for Brett to come back before I talk about Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson's. Is he coming back?
Well,
that's right. He is coming back. That's right.
He was famously interviewed probably 18 months ago now when the first talk of Obi-Wan started. And they were saying, or Liam Neeson was saying, that they couldn't pay him enough money to go back to Star Wars. And now it's turning out that he's appearing in a new show that's going to be made. I can't remember what it was called or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Brett might know, but Brett's disappeared. I don't know where he went.
He disappeared. I heard a bird noise and then he disappeared.
Maybe he turned into a bird, turned into a magpie and flew away. Oh, it's good to see you again, Jack and Dan, by the way. A long time no visualize.
Always good.
Huawei says, how did Joel have such a cute kid?
So I'm cute. That's why.
There you go.
I'm cute
That's
as hell.
the easy answer.
Because I'm cute as hell, and you can't even handle it.
Did you hear the stuff about Liam Neeson coming back?
Oh, yes.
And what's his
Tales of the Jedi.
Tales of the Jedi, right?
Yeah, it'll be starting the beginning of our spring, I'm hearing.
Next year.
Which is your fall.
Next year or the year after?
No, this year.
This year.
Mm.
Oh, starting production.
No,
Already ready to go.
yeah.
Oh, far out.
They're just micro animations.
Ah. So
And,
it's
you know, they're
awesome.
kids' cartooning level micro animations.
Right.
But they're all stories of the Jedi we already know in scenes and drama that we're already familiar with. And so lots and lots of familiar voices, I believe, including, Liam Neeson.
Outstanding. Yeah, he definitely made a big point of saying that he wasn't that they couldn't afford him for Obi-Wan. But
Right.
if it's voice acting work, obviously, they can probably afford that. They probably paid him what he got for,
Eighth
episode
grade
1.
graduation. Oh my god, Jack! These kids are growing. What is going on with these kids?
Kids get a graduation from every year nowadays.
Well, they're just getting older. I don't know what's going on. But who was saying, like, how could I have such a cute kid? Oh, why Huawei was saying that. Okay. Here's the two secrets I can tell you about having cool kids. The first one is you want to meet somebody, and then before they get pregnant, you got to figure out whether or not they'd be a good candidate to get pregnant with you, right? That's a big one. Whether you're a male or a
really
female.
vital step.
That's a vital step. It's very vital. That's the advice I could give to anybody. Feel free to practice, but before you're in the game, practice all you like. But before you're in the game, you want to make sure that your teammate is ready to play a game too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like cricket or baseball or F1 or Star Wars. It doesn't matter. You got to have a teammate who's ready to play, And then parenting tip number 2. This is the other one I can give assuredly. I have lots of useless advice, but these 2 pieces of advice are just factual. If you want to have a decent kid, the super big secret is you have to spend time with them. If you just spend a bunch of time with them,
Humans are designed for.
they will be like way less shitty. They'll just be way better. I know it's a big secret, guys. I know it's a big secret, and I'm pulling the man behind the curtain. I'm pulling it. I'm Wizard of Ozing you right now, but that's the big, giant, elusive secret. Is like, how do you want to have decent, cool kids? You just spend time with them.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Vince Olshev says he has a good looking. I have a good looking mailman. Yeah, actually, just kidding. She's amazing. I will tell you this. There's a lot of times where I go like, this has got to be the mailman's kid. There's no way this is my kid. But she's a blondie, and like, I am the only dark-haired person on my dad's side of the family. I'm the only dark-haired person. The only one.
Swedish roots.
So, yeah, I mean, they're all blonde-haired, blue-eyed, people, I guess, would be the nice way of putting it. They'd probably be in Darth Vader's Reich, if you know what I'm saying. They'd be stormtroopers or whatever. Yeah. So that's my secrets to parenting for you. There you go. Don't
Solid.
have your kids turn out like Darth Vader. Don't have your kids turn out really like any of the Skywalkers. They're all a disaster. All of them. Even the fake ones.
There you go. S-Sight's a perfect example. Darth Vader never spent time with Luke.
Never spent time with him. And that guy is weird. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he must have had some serious paternal issues because he knew that Owen was his uncle from day blot.
Yep. No, my mom has dark hair. Everyone on my dad's side looks like they're from Denmark because they are.
Oh, this one's got bones in it. I know, it's nice and warm in it. It almost gets too hot when you're standing in the sun.
It's glorious.
It's actually getting warm here, believe it or not.
I can still hear it going. You'll hear a series of beeps when it stops. It sings a little song like the microwave does, but it sounds like it's very close now that I hear that winding up.
Yeah, that Jack and Dan brings up a good point. Princess Leia was the best, and it's ridiculous she didn't use her powers earlier in the stories. Yeah, I mean, so it's one of the big issues when you have pivotal characters and you have no way out. Because the only planning that they had done, as far as I have been able to find out, with 7, 8, and 9, is that their plan was to make each film a sort of recap, an homage, and then the finale.
To the legacy characters.
Of what's that?
To the legacy characters.
Right. So it was supposed to be Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker. And so one of the issues was Princess Leia died in real life, and then they just were like, I don't know, I guess we just, whoa, they were under the gun, and then they had a new, they had to get rid of people, and then they had different people, and then the script went away, and then the script came back, and I don't know. There's all these complaints from people that are like, "There's no way we could possibly pull it off," and I was just like, "All right, whatever." Then don't release it. If you can't make it, don't release it. Then, you have a built-in audience, and that's one of the things is like it doesn't matter to me when the production team says like, "Oh, we just couldn't have pulled it off in time, and so we just released it." It's the same thing that happened with Game of Thrones. It's like, oh, well, I don't know, we kind of flubbed it at the end, and there just was nothing we could do about it. And it's like, yeah, there assuredly was something you could do about it. Just don't release this stupid crap that you made and just decide, oh, this is what you guys have made. Well, I guess you guys are fired, and we're not putting this out, and just go, sorry to the fans. It shall be another year or whatever until that season comes out. I mean, and frankly, you could tell the fans anything. Well, they made some crap and it was garbage, and J.R.R. Martin said it sucked, or Lucasfilm said it sucked, or what? I mean, you could scapegoat. The gravity was too heavy. We couldn't release it. Sorry, guys. We got to wait till gravity lightens up, and then we'll have it out in 18 months or whatever.
Kathleen Kennedy is the standard scapegoat.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You could have just blamed some exec who gets a giant bonus and goes on vacation for a year, whatever,
What noise is she?
It's just, to me, frankly, it's like the excuses don't really make up for the failure, of, especially when it's something that you've waited, so many people have waited 40 years or whatever for that stuff to come out, 30 whatever years, but it's a monumental amount of time, and I don't think anybody would have been like, and a perfect example would be Avatar 2. Like, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a giant hit. No one cares if it's coming out next year or the year after or 10 years at 15, just make it good, and then I'm sure it'll be a giant box office hit and people will go see it. That Morbius movie apparently was a perfect example of like, let's rush this stupid crap out, you know. Like
Russia, they've been
Marvel,
holding off for a year and a half because of COVID.
for
Cinema
Avatar 2.
restrictions.
Yeah, but it's like Top Gun 2, perfect example. They decided not to release it because the pandemic happened, and now they just had like one of the biggest box office weekends ever. Let me see what's that.
Well, Lucasfilm still refers to The Force Awakens being, one of the greatest box office openings ever. But we know that it's a film that doesn't work. So the box office doesn't reflect, necessarily what we want movies to be.
I mean,
Right.
with the Avatar, don't we get, when we get Avatar 2, then the following year we get 3, and then the following year we get 4, and then the following year we get 5, don't we?
Is that already a plan?
There's 5 of them coming out, yeah, but I'm not sure how deep into production the whole set is. But one would imagine with stuff like that you'd probably film it all at once.
I reckon it'd be all digital pre-production and then minimal filming to put each production together when they're ready.
Well, it's like, I mean, to use an example that is, prescient, like it just happened, is like Top Gun 2 grossed 550 or 549 million global, and like, and they just held on to it for 2 years. All they did was just have to say, well, we got to get an extension on whatever loans we have, and we're not going to box office yet. Like, okay, just wait. Okay, just wait. Go back, polish it a little bit, fix some things. You got time to fix whatever weird little continuity things might be weird. And they put it out at the right time, and $550 million. Like, okay,
What did Doctor Strange get?
Doctor Strange was close to like 900 million, is what it said.
Right, yeah, I thought it was pretty big. Wow.
But the difference between those two is that a lot of people toileted Doctor Strange, but a lot of people are going nuts about Top Gun.
Oh.
Saying it's one of the best movies ever made. Not as a cinematic masterpiece, but as a fine movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a film. It's a movie. And it really it delivered on, this is a movie. It had a bunch of nostalgia. It had a bunch of nostalgia that roped anybody in, which is the exact same thing that Star Wars could do.
Yes.
You have these nostalgia things, these callbacks to what people already relate to, what they already recognize, and if you put out a story that has some excitement, it has a storyline, a plot, things are happening, things are developing, it's moving towards something, people would have really liked it. Each movie tried to like finalize its own weirdness, and like with 8 just rewriting all of the stuff. It's like, why build Star Killer Base? Why build the the Death Star? Why build the other Death Star? Why rebuild? Why do all these like things if all you got to do is just go into hyperdrive and you blow up a whole fleet?
Yes.
And it's like, well, then people wouldn't be willing to commit suicide to do that. And it's like, well, put a robot on there then. Like, no one seems to care about these sentient robots in this galaxy. So, except for Princess Leia, which is like one of the few things where you go like, wow, she really is empathetic to her little robots. The robots.
I like her character and the performance. I'm really enjoying that part of Obi-Wan.
And so it's to me, it really it makes me wonder just like who's the staff on hand that is making the critical analysis of like what are the choices? Because I know in the past you would have continuity viewers that would literally go like, I don't even know what I'm gonna go watch, but I'm just here to nitpick things that are wrong. That's like the only reason I'm here.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the Lost Boys is, but my job today is to watch the Lost Boys a couple of times before it comes out, tell nobody about it, but tell all these guys, hey, why is there a part where there's a shirtless saxophone player dude that's all sweaty and greased up? What's the point of that in this movie, right? And you know, and the people there could take that advice and do nothing with it and say, hey, the shirtless saxophone playing guy is pivotal to our story. You know, because 40 years from now or 30 years from now, people are going to have the internet and they're going to make fun of this forever. It's going to make this time, you know, whatever. Maybe it's some, you know, but
Classic 80s moment.
yeah, classic 80s moment. And you go like, well, where are those people now? Do they not have those people anymore? Because I know that they show these movies. They have test audiences. They show them to test audiences still. Is it like just brain dead people in there? I'm not sure who they're choosing, because I feel like any test audience would have watched any of those Star Wars movies and gone, why is that? Why did that? What? Like, why did that happen? What is going on here? Like, why? What? Like, what?
Maybe they didn't have enough fans in their test audience for Star Wars movies.
I mean, maybe you can't trust. Maybe you can't trust Star Wars fans, and maybe that's true, because they'll probably leak it on their blog.
They
just can't handle it. You know,
60
but
Star Wars fans who get a boner over anything Star Wars anyway.
that's true.
Look out. What's going on here?
C-beam. Oh, God, he's from the road. Where is he?
He's from the 1993s by the look of his internet connection.
So about 16 pixels crammed together there.
Yeah, that's the word I was trying to think of.
He's calling us from the shirtless saxophone player from the Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he is the shirtless saxophone player from the Lost Boys.
We found him.
He's a known actor, isn't he? That who played that.
He's got a shirt on.
Did he have the peroxided spike out?
I can't even remember the scene that he's talking about. I think I only saw the Lost Boys.
In the Lost Boys?
Yeah, 2 or 3 times. Can you hear us, Josh?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right, I just couldn't hear any audio coming from you at all. How are you, man?
Good. That means my microphone's working really well. Noise cancellation.
Ah, right. Indeed. There you go.
Wasn't making noise, so you shouldn't be hearing noise.
Until you make a substantial enough noise. Brett's here as well.
Hello.
Hello.
There's a face for everyone else in the crowd too, who was talking about the disembodied voice before. That's how you were referred to in chat as.
Good.
Yeah, so many flies. Where are you? You're at home, aren't you? I recognise that timber work.
Yeah, I'm at home. My fishbowl's gone crazy. There's so much plants. It's just like a jungle now.
Nice. Some of the ones that I gave you, do they go nuts?
I think, yeah, it's just a big tangled mess of just greenery. So
That's the best place to start.
yeah,
Once they start to put arms out, then get your scissors out and cut it up and start fiddling. Oh, there we go. There's a picture on screen of the saxophone guy from Thingy.
sexy sax man.
How are you, Andy?
Sexy sax man from... That's from the Lost Boys, man. If you've forgotten the Lost Boys, that scene it's in there. You should look it up. It's pretty funny.
I don't think I'd just want to watch the one scene. I think I'd have to watch the whole movie.
That's what I'm saying. Just watch that scene. You could just grab it on YouTube, you know, and be like, "This happened." Oh my god!
Can't remember where it was. There it was. All right, Jack and Dan. Thanks for swinging by. Good luck with your Star Wars tank. I'm going to make a Star Wars tank too.
Yeah, why not? I'd like to do one with like a Millennium Falcon. I think.
Streets of Jeddah with a downed X-wing.
Well, I have the Millennium Falcon lamp, so I'm going to rig it up to be flying out of Tatooine, and it's only going to be like a half full 2-foot cube. And I've got a Lego X-wing that's going to be in, because it's only plastic, so it's non-toxic.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let kids play
Capture a
with
lot of
Lego.
air unless you build it underwater.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I might have to pull some of it apart and put some putty in there, aquarium putty or something in there to weigh it down.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, the X-wing will be only partially submerged, but like wrapped in mosses and all that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Dagobah.
Yeah, what did I say?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's going to be my Dagobah tank with a big stick
Dagobah.
with all
A
light.
dragon snake.
Well, I've got to think of other things to put in there other than plants. But yeah, and then the Millennium Falcon's going to be a light source, so it's flying up the sort of the length of the stick, even though, to the best of my knowledge, the Millennium Falcon has never been to Dagobah.
And Fortress Vader.
Oh, yeah,
You never know. I mean,
mini Fortress Vader in the corner of Dagobah system tank.
maybe he was delivering some spice to Yoda,
Yeah. 900 years of getting rocked on spice. That's the Yoda's autobiography title.
Speaking of that, like, so we were talking about like having other directors with the other series and all that. It's like, we're gonna see the Ahsoka series, which is gonna be. I imagine that the Ahsoka series is gonna have some pretty wild elements to it because you kind of have a lot of freedom to go there, right? But things like, with the Mandalorian be successful, it's like you might be able to go back and do some of the, Mandalore before it was destroyed. Yaddle is always somebody who's like referenced to as like, maybe that's Yoda, the before Yoda, even though in canon it doesn't really exist, but like, you could potentially go out and do some of those series, which a lot of the nerds have always wanted to see, right?
I'm absolutely certain that Yaddle is going to be brought back in
at some point, right? But you have to like go so far back in time that none of the main characters are there, right?
She walked out of the Jedi Council after the Phantom Menace and to go into deep meditation, but people knew where she was.
Oh, okay. So,
but she was never found during Order 66 or subsequent hunting.
Right. But I mean, maybe Yaddle comes in with the Grogu character or something like that.
That's what I'm thinking.
But like you couldn't have introduced, before the Mandalorian, you couldn't have introduced like, hey, we're doing a series about, it's not Yoda, okay? Let me tell you guys, it's not Yoda, but it looks like Yoda, but it's a female, okay? Let me tell you all about it, right? Like people, only the nerds would have shown up for that. But now you could easily do a Yaddle series because you just all you have to do is just do some kind of preview of Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, somehow tying into the Yaddle series, right? Because that would just immediately hook all the idiots that are just like, I love Baby Yoda. I seen that I had it on a coffee mug at my office, which is all the people you want. You want all those, you're going to get the nerds for sure, but you want to get all those just peripheral, uninterested people to come sit down and pay for a Disney, to have it make sense for them to keep paying for the Disney service, even though their kids get older, right? So it's stuff like that. which I get excited for is just to go like, okay, you have enough directors, you sort of have a system working, and you could kind of expand the universe away from like we don't have to go back and find out what happened with Han Solo. Like we don't.
Oh, come
We
on.
just don't. We don't need to. We don't need to know what happened 10 years after the being named by the random guy at the spaceport, right? Like we don't need to know what happened there. And sorry to the actor that played, like, sorry, bro. Like you just it's a one-off. We don't need that guy coming back. Just stay home.
You know, his naming thing was a reference to stuff that used to go on at Ellis Island when foreigners would come over, and the immigration officers receiving these foreigners would sometimes write the names down with anglicized spellings instead of the spellings of where they've come from, and sometimes people would come with only one name, so they'd give them a second name as well. So it's, you know, it's a historical reference, not to be mocked, I feel.
It's a historical. It's supposedly
actor in Andor.
Okay. I'm from the United States. I've been to the Statue of Liberty. Ellis Island was closed. I didn't get to go in there. But, you know, like my great grandfather, I think, I don't know. It might be more greats. I don't know. Whatever. Dude came from Denmark, right? My last name is spelled wildly different in Danish. And they go, here's the American spelling. And he picked one of them, right? Or they just wrote it down and like, here you go, like whatever, right? Like there never was a real argument about it because you're taking one language to the next. Things are going on, but you're immigrating to a country. It's a known standard, right? Like he's just with all the technology and everything that's going on, and Han Solo is supposed to be a guy, and they're supposed to be the same. And he just, what's your name? Han. Okay. Huh. Well, you're by yourself, so I'll call you Solo because you're all alone. Signing up for the military. Like, what do groups of people show up and they're like, I shall call you Han Triple because there's 3 of you. Like
Han 1, Han 2, Han 3.
Yeah, what? Like, you know, the whole thing is just stop throwing jokes into a
They do it in Bali.
What's that?
Wayan, Katut, first, second, third, fourth.
Yeah.
That's what
Like, stop
everyone
throwing
in Bali.
jokes. Well, it's just
not
like
a joke.
stop throwing
It's culture.
jokes into a non-comedy. Like, this isn't a comedy series. This isn't a comedy series. The first 3 movies are a boy, and then he becomes a teenager, and then he becomes a young man, and all of his arms and legs get chopped off with a laser sword, and he gets thrown into hot lava. This is not a comedy, right? This is a story about the tragedy that evolved into like millions of people's deaths. Like Andor was blown up by the Death Star. The 5 planets get blown up by Star Killer Base, and meanwhile, it's like, hey guys, you got a quippy joke? Like, 5 planets just got blown up, dude. But I farted. You know, you're like, that's not. This is a dramatic story about dark forces like taking over parts of a galaxy. Like, and meanwhile, it's like, hey, you know what we need? We need some comic relief here, guys. That's let's have jokes.
Yoda is pretty funny. I think I think Lucas tried to make comedy bits, but it just didn't go well. Didn't go over.
I mean, Yoda is funny because the puppeteer, what's his name?
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson was funny. Like,
yeah,
but he wasn't playing a funny character.
Henson wasn't available.
What's that?
Yeah, there we go. Brett says it was Frank Oz, not
Yeah, Frank Oz did the voice, and did Henson do the puppeteer work, or was it Frank Oz?
I think Frank Oz did the puppetry as well. Yeah.
Was it all Frank Oz? Okay. Sorry, I'm mistaking who worked on what movies, but Frank Oz was funny, same as Jim Henson. They were both funny, but it's a straight character, right? he's not like he's not purposefully being a comedian, right?
At the beginning, but that's all a serious ploy anyway.
At which beginning?
In Empire, when Luke first encounters him.
Yeah, right. The little bit of slapstick and stuff.
But that's all part of a serious ruse.
Mm. But yeah, it's like he wasn't doing jokes until he was quite old, like in Empire and Return of the Jedi. All the
Right. I mean, even if you take just the first film, number 4, all by itself, Luke doesn't even want to. I mean, he wants to leave, but he doesn't want to leave. But blah blah blah, whatever, right? So he goes back. Uncle Owen and Aunt, what's her name? Aunt
Peru, like
Peru.
the country,
have been murdered, and the farm is burnt.
It's Peru, isn't it?
Peru Whitestone.
It's with a B, not a P.
Yeah, B.
Peru,
Yeah,
Peru Whitestone.
like it's not a comedy. Like there's no comic relief here. Like the Jawas are accidentally funny by being weird little gremlin guys. And for instance, in Obi-Wan Kenobi, there is a funny part with the Jawa, right? The Jawa is selling parts to Obi-Wan Kenobi or whatever. He's like bartering with him. And he goes, "Well, do you need whatever circuit board for your moisture converter or whatever the hell it is?" And he's like, if you're gonna sell me parts, at least if you're gonna sell me my parts that you've stolen, at least clean them. And he's like, "Well, cleaning costs extra." Now, that is a funny part without like really forcing a funny thing. You just go like, he's dealing with the Jawa that comes out. This guy's just he's just like is a bit of a character because he just is, and it is funny without like forcing a joke about, I don't know, you drive your speeder past some creature and it farts or something, or it burps or whatever. I don't know. You just don't need that artificial comedy, but they're trying to take a page out of Marvel's cinematic universe, as far as I can tell with that crap. Is that like, audiences like this. They like a laugh track, and I just...
Oregon has made a success of that. And, using all their Saturday Night Live actors, etc., to really make those side comedy characters mean something and deliver the punch.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're trying to do the Marvel thing where it's like, we've got jokes in here, and it's like,
yeah, that's
okay, well, why bother hiring a symphony to do the soundtrack then, right? Like, why bother having a cinematographer work project? Because you might as well just do a 3-camera set with a couple of couches and everybody have some jokes over the coffee table. Yeah, so it's just like unnecessary goofiness. It's just like this artificial goofiness thrown into what ultimately is just like I mean, it's action and drama, I guess. Really, yeah, I'm not really 100% sure what the actual genre is or whatever, but like, I don't know,
a little bit of everything, potpourri. It was very good to actually finally hear a Jawa in dialogue with someone and have some subtitles and stuff. I thought that was nice,
right? But then also like something that takes me out of it is they have Kumail Nanjiani, right, play the fake Jedi, right? So this is 10 years after Order 66, right? And
yes.
How far apart is the Mandalorian from where we're at with Obi-Wan Kenobi right now? 20 years? later.
18 to 20, I'd say.
18 to 20. Yeah, I agree.
So let's say it's 18 to 20, right? So 18 to 20 years from this point right here in Obi-Wan Kenobi, people know who the Jedi are. They know that there's only a couple of them left, to the point where street urchins essentially will impersonate Jedi in order to rob people, right? 10 years
Oh, I think that's
after.
a cover that we're going to find out he is maybe really a Jedi, and that was all part of the cover of their organization.
Oh, he's not. You got the Inquisitor just, because he had to have a joke in there where the Inquisitor slams him into the wall with the Force, and then he goes, "That's not magnets." Right,
Yes.
and then we all laugh like, probably his back was broken. But a good thing he had a joke when he maybe died. I don't know, or he just maybe his arms and legs are broken, and he's gonna be in traction for like 6 months.
I
or
reckon
something.
we'll see him again.
But it's good that there was a joke there because he's funny. So
I agree.
but-
I could do without the jokes. It should be serious drama that we're
Right.
watching. Characters.
But the point that I want to bring up is that we're 10 years after Order 66, at least, right?
That's
If
what I
not.
said. Yep.
So why haven't they hunted down this fake Jedi?
Well, no, it's not that they hunted him down, because then we go fast forward to the Mandalorian time, which is 18 to maybe 20 years later, which clearly there have been Jedi interaction with the fall of the Empire. Luke has killed everybody, or ostensibly, I don't know, single-handedly murdered everyone in the galaxy that had anything to do with anything, to the point where he's just flying around in a ship, like eradicating stuff whenever he hears somebody's in trouble, right? So, but seemingly everybody in the Mandalorian sort of has no idea what a Jedi is at all. They're all just like, well, what are you talking about? Like, there's guys with what, a sword? Or they're like wizards or so? I don't understand what happened. What are you talking? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you have any Beskar? No? Okay. Well, I gotta go away now. Right? And you're like, well, where? Well, like, how does any of this kind of stuff track? Is everyone just lost their damn minds, or they just do not remember anything, or they're all spice junkies, or
Are we
I don't know.
completely exposed to Din Djarin not knowing about the Jedi? Does he actually say that he's never heard of them or anything?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he's overtly says that he has no understanding of the Jedi.
Yeah, he's just like, it's like if I came up to you and was like, there's a bird, and this bird, it breathes lightning, and it can levitate. It doesn't even use its wings. It just hovers around, and it does all this stuff. Like, and you would be like, what? I've never heard of this ever. And you'd be like, dude, it was, they ruled the earth 30 years ago, so yeah. And then there was this dude, and he decided to kill all of them, and they've all been dead for 30 years now. And I mean, I know I'm 50 years old and everything, but they were around, bro. And you're like, what? You silly goose. You know,
That's
like,
a
what are
really
you,
good analogy. I like
what the
it.
hell are you talking about, bro? There's never been a lightning bird that does any of that stuff. What are you fucking
Good HLG.
just making up a crazy story? You're like, no, they were just like kind of everywhere when we were a kid. They were sort of pivotal. They were leading the government and protecting like senators. And Mitch McConnell's still here, and he had a Jedi for 50 years up until 30 years ago, and he's like 110, but he's still here, and he remembers them real well. And they all just got shot in the head one day, and I mean, they fought valiantly. There was little ones of them. We're not sure where they went, but they valiantly fought to save the little ones. And now they would be like 25, maybe 35, something like that. So they would just be like an adult, but they fought valiantly. They got shot, and then now they're not here now. Yeah, I just, The whole thing just
I know
like
you don't like to watch the trailers fast forwarding to what's coming, but Bad Batch Season 2 is going to deal with youngling and Padawan Jedi survivors.
okay, which is cool, but now they've thrown in Camille Nanjiani 10 years later, impersonating Jedi as a street urchin. He's not like a classic. Is he like classically trained? Is he like super knowledgeable? Did he go to the university? He seems like.
I think he's part of the path.
What's that?
I think he's actually in the organization that that woman referred to as the path to extract Jedi survivors and take them to the safe planet.
Right. But what I'm saying is that here we are 10 years after Order 66. Everyone knows who the Jedi are still, right? To the point where people are at least impersonating them and people know, oh, those were the guys that were those were the good guys. They're all gone now, but here's one that's in hiding and he'll help us get out of here. And then you kind of fast forward like 18, 20 years later, and the Mandalorian, who by the way, is not 0 years old. He's like, I mean, they unmask him. He's at least 40, right?
Yeah, well, he was about 8 years old in his flashbacks in the Clone Wars when he gets extracted by Death Watch.
Right. So, but I'm just like, do none of the other Mandalorians know what Jedi are? And they don't. I just, the whole thing, it starts to fall apart when you start to add in stupid stuff like this comedy into the show. Like, because we're supposed to think that, like, the Mandalorian, he lives out here. He knows what's going on in the universe. He knows what's up. He's adept. He's been trained. He knows what's happening. He's a mercenary. He's flying around planet to planet. He's capturing people. He knows all sorts of stuff. Oh my God, he lands on an ice spider planet and he just manages somehow to navigate it and get out of there. And guys in X-Wing fighter land and help him out, basically.
That's a good callback to the chasing through caves scenario from earlier.
But like, yeah, I like chase through caves, man. I like that. It's a good thing. Like, are they going to catch up? Is it Indiana Jones? Is he going to get run over by the rock? Is it going to happen? He made it. He got his hat.
But yeah,
same guy, Han Solo, but in a cave.
I think we get what you're saying, that it's very odd that Din Djarin has no idea of what
and it's so I don't know what it's like for other people. I don't live in anybody else's brain, right? Like I have no idea what anybody's interpretation is of anything realistically other than what they describe to me, right? But when I watch a show and they go, hey, we've just thrown some comedy in here for this effect, the cascading stones that start falling in my head is going like, why the fuck does the Mandalorian not know what a Jedi is? At least, like, from a knowledge,
because
right?
He's been kept from the truth by the armorer, who I think is Rook Kast, who is the enemy of Bo-Katan.
Right.
So I think that she has purposely kept him and others in the dark.
Right. I understand.
About her involvement with the Empire and their destruction of Mandalore.
Right.
She was directly involved in that.
I'm aware of that because I live outside this universe, right? Like, I'm aware that, like, oh, somebody's trying to keep information from the Mandalorian, right? Din Djarin, he doesn't know. He's, what is he, a child? What are they called? The child of the, I don't know, I have to go back and remember it, but the children?
Children of the Watch.
Yeah, he's like a children of the Watch. They're like Mormons of the United States, right?
They're a Death Watch splinter group.
But like, if he, like, let's say that they're not even Mormons. Let's say that he's like an Amish.
Imperials.
Well, no, let's say he's like an Amish, right? He has no technology. He has to live on a farm. He's wagon wheels and everything, even in the 21st century in the United States. Like, they still know what cocaine is, right? They still know what telephones are, even though they're not allowed to use them or interact with them or anything like that.
On the moon.
Like, what's that?
She used the word cloistered on the
Right.
moon.
Mm-hmm.
So, cloistered refers specifically to monasteries, nunneries, etc. And we know that those people are indoctrinated and certain information is given to them and certain information isn't given to them in terms of their worldview. I am absolutely certain that has what has been done to Din Djarin by the armorer.
Right. But he's also a bounty hunter, essentially, right? He's out doing mercenary missions. He has a ship, right?
So, yeah,
Like he knows how to
really,
fly a ship.
he could have been out there in the uncloistered world. And
Like
still learned
never
everything.
talking to anyone or encountering anything, which by the way, throughout the show, every time he goes to a planet, he's like, let me talk to you. Let me talk to this person. Let's see what's going on over here. I'm going to go into this bar. What's going on over here? Oh, there's an attractive lady. I'm going to go sit. I'm going to sit sort of near her. Oh,
but
hey, I'm hanging out with this Imperial guy. I'm just
Joel,
going to talk with him.
Joel,
it's Bill Burr. Right?
he thinks it's a myth, man. He thinks it's a myth. Even if someone told him about Jedi, he'd be.
I think
Mando would just
vampires
be
are
like,
a myth.
"Oh, fuck off! I've never seen one. I've been everywhere. They don't exist."
I think vampires are a myth, right?
Yeah.
If there was a guy with a cape and he had big teeth and he turned into a bat and he went over and he sucked somebody's blood out of their neck and then they turned into a weird guy with a cape and the teeth and I'd be like, oh shit, that's a vampire. Holy crap, they're real. I better encounter them with the limited knowledge that I have. Rub some garlic on my face and cross. I'll make a makeshift cross and try to deal with the Dracula, right?
But that's all propaganda, man. Every vampire defense that we've been told about is absolute propaganda that's probably spread by vampires.
I mean, probably, but if I was the main character of the story here, and then you just go like, well, this whole entire time I thought vampires were fake, so I just let them eat me. That would not be a very good story. It would not be a very good story, and I wouldn't be a very compelling character that made any sense why we would do all of these episodes following me around while I went to work and like drove my car around and I'm nailing things together and I'm looking at he knows how to use a saw. Look at this guy. He's a real whip dinger. And then he runs into a vampire and it's like, I just refuse to acknowledge what's happening in front of my face right now. And I'll just act like I've never heard of this before. So I shall be like, what? Huh? You know, like it just makes no sense to me that he's supposed to be all of these things, but then like completely ignorant of one of the elements of this universe, right?
Yeah.
Like
I get that, but they're so rare. Like think about like the rule of two with the Sith. Like the majority of the galaxy just doesn't even believe that Sith exist.
Right.
Because there's only ever two of them at any given time. And by Mando's period where Luke's involved, there's probably only two Jedi that exist as far as he's concerned, Ahsoka and Luke. And the rest of them are just like so hidden and so protective and not even practicing that anyone who even goes, oh, you've got Jedi powers, they'd be like, nah, what are you talking about? We don't exist. There's no such thing as Jedi. That's fairy tales, you know?
Right. So, now, fairy tales would make sense if you were like, it's been 200 years. It's been whatever.
Yeah, but it's like, only
one of the reasons that people think Moses walked on water is they're like, it was 2,500 years ago. Okay, guys. So I have a book and Moses walked on water. All right. And he parted the Red Seas and he took the Jews out of the desert or whatever, you know, and you're like, are we really sure about that? You know, and you go like, well, it was 2,500 years ago and we're still talking about it. So it must be really important, right? So the assumption is that all of the characters are either 5 years old and they're like, don't know anything, but yet they regularly run into characters that are 700 years old. And in the timeline, it's been this at most 30 years. Like, right? Like at most it's 30 years since they were all murdered, which by the way would probably be a relatively big event that people would talk about, because as illustrated in The Mandalorian, when the Empire and the Death Star got blown up, They were out in the middle of nowhere in a mining
Mm.
town, and were
Mm.
celebrating the fact that the Death Star blew up. So they not only did they know the Death Star got blown up, they got a transmission about how it just happened, and they started lighting off fireworks.
Yeah, chronology doesn't really work in the Star Wars universe that well.
That's what I'm saying, is that like
so
there's
was
all
George
of
Lucas?
these continuity errors where you go.
Yeah, it does. But do you know about the?
They are recently introduced continuity errors with you need a place for Camille Nanjiani to tell a joke and be a funny guy, because we got to have comedy right now, for him to be a fake Jedi. Now it puts 10 years of, well, everybody's known for the last 10 years now, and it keeps shrinking the window of people's brains. Just we don't know what's that. Now Uncle Owen knows Obi-Wan Kenobi is a Jedi. He knows that Luke is a Jedi now. They've introduced that. Yeah. And Owen is a sassy character who's like, fuck you, Jedi guys. I don't like any of your voodoo magic. I don't like any of that. I'm Uncle Owen. Oh, hey, there's a big Inquisitor here. I'm going to stare him down with my eyeballs. Don't laser my neck. Don't laser my neck, Inquisitor. You're a wizard, but you're the bad wizard, so I'm going to stand here because I'm a famous actor, and we got to write me into the show, and it's got to be a pivotal moment where I'm very
famous
much
Australian
have no power, but I'm going to stare down a bad guy. Why'd you add that in? Why? Now Uncle Owen knows what's going on. Now, Aunt, what's her name?
Illustrated scale like that.
Now everybody knows he's a Jedi. Everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows what's going on. He's blown his cover.
Owen's life is pain and suffering. I don't think he fears death.
Owen's life was a simple farmer. He was a simple farmer guy.
I still profess that he knows that Luke's going to get Jedi powers, and he wants to use those Jedi powers for labor on his farm.
Oh, so now Owen's a bad guy. He's exploitative of children.
Yeah, droid building as well.
Wait, so Uncle Owen wants to exploit children because they might have magical powers to help him be a moisture farmer on a Dust Bowl planet. That's who Uncle Owen is now. Now it ruins the first movie. It ruins the first movie because when Uncle Owen dies, we're all supposed to be sad. But it turns out Uncle Owen was a bad guy all the time. So it actually should have a victory march. Victory march. Uncle Owen is dead. All he did was keep Luke here as a slave. Oh my God! Everyone rejoice. We have to go back. We have to change it. We have to change A New Hope. A New Hope was actually, the hope was not Luke Skywalker. The hope was Uncle Owen, the slave master, probably pedophile. As soon as we figure it out, we're probably going to find out there's some kind of something going on here. Why doesn't he have any other kids? Right? Where's his other kids?
She's got a story.
G'day, Gaffer. How's it going, mate?
Uncle Owen should just be a farmer guy. He should just be a farmer guy who's the uncle and be hanging out. But now there's all this wild backstory about Uncle Owen. Is he a bad guy? Oh, I don't know. Is he?
Corvus,
are you
a bit butthurt that Star Wars has been manipulating you from a young age?
Am I butthurt? No, I'm not butthurt. I just want
total
a job.
Emotional manipulation, like telling you what to think. And
no, I want a contract. I'll make you a better Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's a big claim.
Yeah.
Just start writing stuff and send it to Dave Filoni.
I'm not sending them my ideas. They'll steal them. Those guys are criminals. It's clear.
Get in via Marvel.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Go via the comics.
Dark Horse now is getting Star Wars comics back again.
Send some ideas to the comics instead.
I can't do it. I did the comic racket like 20 years ago, and
You remember Wizard magazine?
I got bad vibes from it. I'll put it that way, so I don't unearth a nest of bees that does not need to be unearthed. I'll put it.
You remember Wizard magazine?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember all the fan voting of who should play the X-Men and shit like that. It's pretty hot culture before the internet. Like I'm 40. I was a teenager when some of those issues came out, but it was pretty amazing seeing like fan polls of like which actors should play which characters, and it was just like, wow, this could be real one day. And then they pulled it off, but it hasn't all come together yet. You know, we haven't seen.
I mean, here's the thing: I would rather have content than not.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, as much as I like to make fun of it, I'm surely showing up, and I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
You know, I can have opinions on like, well, you fucked this up, but it's sort of set in stone now. I mean, it's like I still got, you know, you just hope for like, well, let's just keep the story rolling here and keep it going, because like when 7, 8, 9 came out, it really threw a lot of bad, like, it really screwed up the story. I mean, if we're being honest, it did.
Have you guys seen Morbs yet? Morbius?
I'm not. No.
I saw it.
It's fucking awesome.
My
it's
God,
so good.
You the only person that liked it? All right.
I don't know, man. I got the Morbs for Morbs. It's fucking awesome. It's really good.
Oh, you liked it?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really good.
So you are the audience.
Maybe, yeah. I'll represent the audience.
Well, people made so much fun of that movie that Sony decided to re-release it into 1,000 theaters last weekend.
Yeah.
And it made $300,000 out of 1,000 theaters.
Wow.
Which means that Sony lost probably like $5 million re-releasing it.
Yeah.
Because people were making fun of it so much they thought it was that popular.
Right. I don't care what critics have to say. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it because like I'm looking forward to the future where we're gonna have a Morbius, Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, Secret Defenders team up. You know, some of these more dark characters are working together.
I will say this: Morbius lost a lot of money, and they are not going to make another one.
Oh, he'll be included as a side character.
I doubt it. Like, Jared Leto is like extraordinarily difficult to work with.
Yeah.
And there's a very limited number of actors and actresses that will actually work with him. So if, if he's going to collaborate, he's like somebody that shows up at the grocery store or something. Right. But yeah, I mean,
they've got deep faking CGI now, and a lot of these actors don't realize that they're signing away their caricatures to Disney, and Disney can just cook up some CGI motion captured Morbius action.
You can, but then you're using the likeness. You're using somebody's likeness.
Yeah, he signed it away. As soon as he's worked for Disney, that's it. He's gone.
No.
Just like Mando can keep his mask on and could be a completely different body actor. They just deep fake the voice. You know, if anyone has any gripes with their contract.
I mean, if you want to see what, I mean, I would beg you to go read some copyright law in the United States. But if you were to utilize someone's likeness under a licensed release where you are making money and you do not have a contract with them, you will be sued beyond belief. And they don't need any money to do that. Because
you just keep Morbius in his vampire mode, and that way you never use Jared Leto's face. It's so easy to pull up.
I mean,
he's not Morbius. He doesn't own Morbius.
He doesn't own Morbius, but he owns his likeness, and so
yeah.
I mean,
can someone explain the "It's Morbin Time" meme to me?
It's Morbin Time. Well, in 1880. Morbs was a common phrase of like, I've got the morbs.
I'm sad. So, yeah,
I'm sad. So now we're in the 2020s. It's time for some of this Morbin time to come back because a lot of people are feeling pretty morbid.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Was it used in the Top Gun movie?
I've got no idea.
No.
I was listening to, I think it was on Monday's episode of Comedy Bang Bang's podcast, and they kept it wasn't Comedy Bang Bang, it was a different podcast anyway, and they kept referring to "It's Morbing Time," And I just, even though I made a post on someone else's Facebook thing saying that the morbs was it was a popular phrase in the 17 and 1800s, Old English for feeling sad. I've got the morbs, probably in the East End of London or somewhere like that, where the people that often left the first letter of words off lived.
Peak vampire era.
But I had no idea that people were referring to a current
Frankenstein era
zeitgeist or something that we're currently experiencing. But now I know. Thank you for explaining that to me.
But Morbin time is a reference to morphing time from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's Morbin time. Right. So everyone turns into morbs. So Morbin time references is a reference for the generation that grew up with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as like a afternoon staple of TV watching, which is it's generally rubbish, but the stunt work and everything is pretty clever.
And now their afternoon staple is just feeling sad. Disney, yeah, sadness.
We all got to feel sad sometimes, man. Oh,
I remembered what podcast it was on. It was on the Jesselnick Rosenthal Vanity Project, JRVP, Junior Vice President. Do you listen to that one, Joel?
What's up?
Anthony Jesselnick's podcast.
I haven't listened to his podcast, but I'm familiar with his work.
Yeah, well, that was on his JRVP podcast this week. It was them that was doing the It's Morbing Time. But for some reason, they were linking it to the Top Gun movie somehow. And so I was convinced that It's Morbing Time had something to do with the Top Gun movie instead of the general zeitgeist that matters to that word. Word. What was the word I was trying to do then? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
The Boys. I haven't caught up on that yet. I did Moon Knight though. That was pretty interesting.
It was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. That's a really good adjective for that show, I think. The first two episodes, I was very interested, and then I followed it through. It was only 6, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it was fun.
Yeah, it was just like a long movie, but good zany stuff. I didn't like the bits with the stars moving and all that nonsense. I thought that was
good. Ethan Hawke performance.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke was great. Yeah. Can't remember the last time I saw him on a screen. Singles? Was he in Singles?
Can't remember.
Bloody 90s.
The concept of old gods having avatars, I thought that was like, I can kind of see how this is like potentially going to, concept-wise links in with Neil Gaiman's stuff, that American Gods stuff, the avatars of spirits. I'm like, this is actually
pretty cool.
Real. Yeah, it's not necessary. It is mythological and it is created and it is fiction, but at the same time, there's some definite truths coming through. Bit of reveal.
Yeah, American Gods is very cool. Oh, g'day, GRB. When did you sneak in? Oh, just now. Is American Gods finished?
No, there's more to come. I'm sure of it.
It certainly felt that way after the last bit that they left us with.
Yeah.
What were you saying about a sticker?
On Corvus's mic, it says diabetes.
It does.
Right. And is that shit? Don't tell me. Is it that old actor? Bloody fuck! He was in the he was in the Ewoks movie.
Wolford.
Wilfred Brimley. That's him. Jesus Christ! I wish you didn't say that. I would have so got there in about 7 or 8 minutes.
Wilford Brimley was the voice of many a commercial trying to get people to eat Quaker oats because it would keep you from diabetes.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why. I think eating plain Quaker oats for breakfast, I guess, was a good way to not eat crap like Fruit Loops and Frosted Flakes and that sugar crap.
There's a thing they say that eating oats is good to reduce your blood pressure. So
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Maybe it reduces your blood pressure by.
It's just fucking water and oats, bro. Like it's probably good for you. If you just eat water and oats, it's probably like, well, you can feel the pain and it's legitimate. So probably good for you.
Beer and cigarettes.
Wolford Bromley.
Bromley.
But he always came on and he always said diabetes. Diabetes, one of the number one killers of I don't know, Ewoks. I don't know.
And and Whitey gets in trouble for saying diabetes because they think we're taking the piss out of the blacks.
Who does?
But it was actually
it was just his weird accent.
Who? Wilford Brimley? Yeah, he was always just diabetes. He's a weird old guy. I don't think he was making fun of anybody. That was just his voice.
No, he wasn't. But if Whitey nowadays says diabetes, people assume you're poking fun at the Negroes and stuff because
what? We can't mispronounce things without being racist. I think that's more racist than anything, man.
I don't know. I'm specifically making fun of this guy. When I say diabetes.
He's a loose unit.
I'm legitimately making fun of Wilford Brimley when I say diabetes because he always was saying that. Eating plain oatmeal all the time will make you want to die long before diabetes kills you. That's probably true.
He had the morbs.
Yeah, he had the morbs. Hard.
So, public service announcement: if you're sensing the morbs right now, eat some oatmeal.
Eat some Quaker oatmeal.
Steel
hot bowl of Quaker oats.
What is the difference between steel cut oats and normal oats?
Normal oats are rolled to squash them to give them that flat oval look. Steel cut is the groat is still a grain, almost like a rice grain, and the steel cut blades section it. So you've got little chunky sections. And if you just eat groats, they are like a long rice grain.
Right. I'm glad I asked that question today. Now I know.
The more you know.
When I worked in a supermarket, I used to load the shelves with rolled oats and steel cut oats, and constantly had this, discussion in my own head on what the hell is the difference. And that
the
makes
rolling
perfect sense.
splays out everything, so the soaking becomes a very quick action for them, whereas the groat needs to be soaked for.
Does this even say what it is? Oh no,
to be chewable.
Well, we'll have to wait till next week to. What was the other thing we were going to talk about?
We were going to go probably deeper into the boys, I guess.
Yeah, we can catch up next week on the boys. What a cliffhanger! What a cliffhanger at the end of episode 3.
I know, right? And
brutal.
Yeah, I don't know if whoever was in the chat earlier saying that they hadn't watched it yet. You were lucky today that you didn't get any spoilers. And catch up by next week.
Got it.
Thank you, Spaz.
All right, I got to go to bed. It's great to talk to you, boys.
Right,
always a good time.
We didn't even touch upon your name this week.
Oh,
I have no idea who Vincent Cassell is. It's
one-
probably a name that was bastardized at the Ellis Island immigration gates by
Yeah,
some
probably.
whitey
Yeah.
pushing his pens.
You'll have to look it up. It's in the boys.
In the boys, right? I like a reference. I like
Yeah.
a callback.
Callbacks. All right, boys. I'll holler at you later.
Good night.
Cheers.
I liked your what was it, cloistered theory before Z-Beam. That was pretty choice. Being sheltered from adopting new ideas and whatnot.
Seems to be the root of survival when it comes to touchy subjects. You know, we're deep delvers. We like to delve into knowledge, but there's a lot of people just out of for pure safety's sake, just go, no, I don't want to know about that. Fucking, it's not going in my brain. You're not dragging me through mud. Fuck that. I'll just stay clear of it.
We know that the Empire puts out the knowledge that it's dangerous even just to talk about the Jedi. You know, that could bring, you know, fatal imperial entanglement into your lifestyle. And so I think, except for the legends that some people choose to hang on to, the vast majority of the galaxy decides to forget.
Yeah. And you could imagine these inquisitors on a boring week, they'd go hunting people just for talking about Jedi.
Absolutely.
Because they're not going to get the big fish every week. The big fish is maybe once in 10-year event. So you're gonna track down anyone. Especially people who have relics. You know, what are they called? Holocrons? Anyone who's looking after relics or found a relic, you know, you'd hunt them down and fucking take it off them.
After you kill them.
Yeah.
Brutally.
And they're also hunting down all the Force sensitives.
Yes.
To do God knows what with.
Also, the Grand Inquisitor is in charge of the Seekers, who are like the Jedi Seekers used to find Force-sensitive children, and they're taking them to an institute on Arcanus, which is where they developed the new Stormtrooper program for the First Order. But they're also, that's where there's this secret academy to try and build up new Force sensitives to probably be Inquisitors, etc. And the Grand Inquisitor is in charge of that institute.
Right. So yeah, keeping the cover is probably really important, because I think, like, after reading the Book of Sith, you know, there's a big emphasis on the rule of two. So if they've, in this new era section that they're developing, well, it's not new, but you know what I mean, it's new stuff that they're revealing, that potentially some of these Inquisitors and other Force sensitives are trying to establish a cultivation culture that isn't tied in with the Sith directly, because with the Sith, there's only supposed to be the master and the student or the apprentice, and they can't be more than two at any given point in time for a safety mechanism, because you don't want power games and you know, bullshit where you get, you know, 3 upstarts all teaming up on the Grandmaster, and then now we have no power structure. It's just chaos. So the Empire's all about order.
That's right. And so Sith culture also goes deep underground again, just like the forgetting of Jedi culture.
Yeah.
And that's also a misdirection, because Sidious has already got a plan happening for building what we come to know as Exegol out in the unknown regions.
Yeah.
That's already happening. And that's exactly why he invites Thrawn to come into his brand new empire and rise to the very top of it as, in the new canon, the only non-human who's been seen in any rank in the Empire.
Mm.
And he becomes a Grand Admiral
And very good at it.
because he made the plan for Sidious to set up the new Exegol.
Right.
G'day, ugly man.
Hello, everyone. I remember playing Jedi Starfighter on PlayStation 2. That was really good fun. The whole idea of having vehicles that could be enhanced with force powers is pretty zany. Good action. But to think that there's a Grand Admiral that's force enabled who can do crazy shit with a huge vehicle, that's, we don't need Death Stars if you can have circuitry that amplifies force abilities.
Who's that? Which one? Who's the force?
Your friend
enabled?
mentioned it.
No, not
Thrawn.
Thrawn. Yeah, but Thrawn's not force
No.
ability.
Okay.
He is the tactical genius.
Right.
That's his thing.
And
Military tactical genius.
and historian, art lover,
But he
hand-to-hand combat expert.
He comes from what's virtually a separate galaxy that he refers to as the Chaos, and his people are blue-skinned, and they are the Chiss ascendancy in the middle of this chaos, which the galaxy calls the unknown regions.
Right.
And so the connection is that Sidious knows that there's an old Sith world out there that he wants to reclaim to further his long-term plan. And Thrawn has the knowledge of that unknown regions.
Right.
And becomes his grand ally.
Yeah, cool.
And that's the character who disappears with Ezra Bridger in the very end of Star Wars Rebels, which, we're fairly certain is going to be picked up by the upcoming series Ahsoka after a gap of 15 years, because Thrawn and Ezra disappear maybe only months before Star Wars A New Hope.
G'day, Scuba Steve and Thirsty Rabbit. How are you, man? Good to see you. Loving the look, Doctor. I wish I could grow mine like that still. What? Your jowls? I've got, no one can grow jowls like me.
No, you're highly trimmed eyebrows.
Yeah, I did them the other day. I got a new battery-powered trimmer in the post, so I did my eyebrows.
You're right.
My sides and tied this nonsense up, and I did my armpits back to winter. I can't do long hair in my armpits over winter. They just get dreadlocked. And, I did a bit of downstairs tidying up as well. That was well overdue, might I say. So, yeah, I've lashed out, and because every time I've got a set of hair clippers, but they're electric, and I don't have any PowerPoints in my bathroom. So I've got to get an extension cord out and unravel it and plug it into one of my power boards in there somewhere, and then run it into the bathroom so I can do it in front of the mirror. And then, and then I saw this rechargeable battery one that just plugs into a USB, and I thought, yeah, I'll get that. So it turned up the other day. So I went ham, and I did all the hairs, not all the hairs, but most of them. The bits outside the length of the comb I got. So yeah, check my OnlyFans for pictures. And if you're on the platinum tier on my OnlyFans, there might be a video or two. Those who have successfully found my OnlyFans are definitely enjoying the content that I provide there. And well done to you for decoding and finding the account.
Did you talk Quinlan Voss earlier?
No, we didn't mention Quinlan
Who
Voss.
wants to see Quinlan Voss tonight, potentially, in Obi-Wan Kenobi? So he got mentioned directly last week.
Sounds good.
Quinlan Voss is a I don't know if everyone's familiar who he is. He's like a kind of a. It doesn't toe the line as far as Jedi's go so much. He's a little bit of a loose cannon, dreadlocks, and
He remained deeply connected to his own culture. He's just a slightly non-human, a kifar.
I always think of him like a Brazilian rainforest dwelling native sort of thing. Just the way he gets about.
And he has the force power of touching an object and understanding the history
Where
of
it's been
other
and-
people that have touched it.
Psychometry.
That's the one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was made into a legendary character in the Dark Horse comics days of that Jedi era. And they brought him into canon because of he's in one Clone Wars episode where he teams up with Obi-Wan because Zero has been sprung out of prison.
Zero's a Hutt. Jabba's nephew or something, wasn't he?
And so beyond the Dark Horse comics, he became a cult Jedi character from that episode alone. So he was put in the awesome novel Dark Disciple, where he not only has a relationship with Asajj Ventress, but he becomes Dooku's new Sith apprentice.
Okay.
I still say that Asajj Ventress is the absolutely sexiest female that's ever been in Star Wars.
She's a hot character.
Very, very hot.
I like the trajectory that they eventually drew out for her, not just as a two-dimensional, well, you know, there's the Sith assassin.
She had these different things going on in her personality, and we got exposed to her going, do I, don't I, all of that kind of stuff. Am I, aren't I?
Thirsty, I hope you've had your vaccines. I got a friend who went overseas. He thought, oh, yeah, I don't need a vaccine to go overseas. Yeah, you don't need a vaccine to go overseas, but to get back. So now he's fucked.
Nah, they make you do stuff when you come back.
No, they won't even let you on the plane for some of the airlines.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
Yeah, they sprung that on him. So he's like, what am I going to do? I might have to go to he's in Thailand, so he might have to go to a monastery and become a monk and
stay in a knock shop for 3 weeks.
More than that, until they get their legals sorted out over here. Which might
so
not
he's still stuck over there.
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
He went to get on a plane, and how's this? The airline that said he couldn't get on without a vaccination said, "Oh, we can't give you a refund. We'll just give you a voucher for their own airline."
So I'm still not going to fly with you.
You can't. No.
What do you reckon that is?
Well, that's
Have a
good.
look and find
No,
out.
Cool. So I just got back from Victoria on Friday night, and it was pretty epic. Went to Bendigo, went to the Chinese museum there in Bendigo, and they got the world's longest, those dancing dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the world's longest one there. It's like goes up two floors in length. It's huge.
And just
And they have
spirals around.
Spirals around, yeah, it's massive. And that's the golden dragon. And then they had a chariot that was made out of panels of jade, out of serpentine, and it was fucking epic. Had 188 dragons carved into it, and these huge, big, like, pole arms made out of jade. And I was like, wow, who's meant to carry those fucking things? They're huge.
Were they all just like one piece, or were they bits joined together? That seems like a massive piece that you'd have to start with.
The chariot, I could tell, was done in panel work over a wooden frame.
Oh, yeah. I saw your picture of the chariot. Most definitely.
But that big, long pole arm was definitely one big cut. Otherwise, it wouldn't hold together. Yeah. Very ceremonial. I showed a Maori woman at the pub yesterday, and she was like, "Fuck, that's pretty hectic compared to some of their greenstone hand axes that they've got over there."
Uh-huh.
And the Morai head splitters.
Yeah, I used to have a really nice red t-shirt that I used to wear with a Fijian one of those ones that's got like a big solid block and then a little horn off to the side.
Yep. Yeah.
So they could, the dude was telling me, they whack them on the back of the head and then they use the little angle bit to snap the necks once they've knocked them down.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, brutal weapon, but looks lovely on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I have no idea where that shirt is now. It's probably gone. It's probably in a landfill somewhere.
Yeah.
See you, DD. Good night.
My boy. Yeah, Thirsty, get on that, man. I don't want to hear about you getting stuck. It's important to be sorted before you go, because once you get over there, you never know what can go down. You have to deal with consulates and bullshit like that.
Yeah, get your T's crossed and your I's dotted before you go, Thirsty. That's bloody where Vanuatu, isn't it? Thirsty saying he's going. Yeah, Vanuatu. That's your joint, isn't it? Thirsty. Go to Vanuatu. You've got your mob over there. Good fishing. Good sunbaking.
Good rum, I hope.
Good rum.
Or is it kava?
Yeah. Well, yeah. They do kava in Vanuatu, surely. I did it in Fiji. I did lots of kava in Fiji when I was there. Jesus.
Sorry, news story. They're going to make it legal over here again, which is cool. So we'll start seeing some kava bars.
Interesting. I'd take part. Why not?
Fuck yeah.
It was very, very interesting stuff, except that it made you piss more than drinking beer all night does. I feel I pissed twice as much drinking kava as I would drinking beer. I don't know whether it's got some really drastic diuretic effect or not, but
I found that from eating it. Well, I was drinking alcohol and eating kava, and it really affected me.
yeah, well, I was on my honeymoon in Fiji when I got married that one time. And yeah, we had this. We did 1 week in a village. I say it with quotes because it's probably like that's a village, probably village life constructed for tourists. And we did a week in like a resort. And when we were in the village, there was kava night, and we went absolutely ham on the kava. And I woke up at about 4:30 the next morning, and I'm sitting on the toilet, resting on the disabled rail beside the toilet with my head fast asleep. But yeah, like normally, if I wasn't on kava, there's absolutely no way I could maintain that position without extreme back pain or pins and needles and stuff. But because I was absolutely spastic on kava, I could quite happily fall asleep, sat on the toilet, leaning on the handicap rail above the toilet roll holder.
You rode the porcelain bus all the way to the terminus.
Yeah, well, yeah, just I wasn't spewing in it. That's all. I must have. I'm assuming I must have peed sitting down, or I either peed, and then I thought, I feel really tired. I'll just sit down here for the minute, and then 4 hours later, wake up leaning on the wall.
Rum, eh? Thirsty Rum's getting on the rums.
What?
Thirsty's saying they got $10 rum. Fucking go mental.
Thirsty doesn't have to worry about that. He's already mental. Drink as much rum as you can get thirsty.
Rum and pineapple juice. Yeah. Sweet.
Fiji is interesting. I think you mean an interesting but tragic story. S. I didn't even know you were still here. S. You've been very quiet. Probably fell asleep at the keyboard. What's it? What's the tragedy from Fiji? I don't know. Is it tragedy? Because of all the people they took there to work on sugarcane. No, that was the last 40 years, wasn't it? That's bloody fruit flies and their kin, drain flies. They're everywhere.
Oh, don't kill them. The Psychodidae, they're cool. They don't do anything bad.
Who?
The drain flies, the sewer flies.
No, they do. They're gross.
They're awesome. I love them. They're cute as
And I
little
have-
bumble flies.
I have oranges and mandarins at the moment. Oh, I don't need any of the fruit fly varieties that can inhibit my fruit's production.
Do the sewer flies eat fruit? I thought they just do the drain scum and they're happy.
I don't know. I really don't. I've only heard of drain flies in the last month.
Okay. They look like little bumblebees with massive wings for their body size. Big rounded ones. If you got the eyes to see them, they're pretty cute.
Not them.
Have you been having your taurine that I gave you?
Mm.
Notice any differences yet?
No, it's up there. You see
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
You can see it. I know you
Yeah, I
can
can see it. I've got good eyes, yeah.
Quality. That's good comedy right there. C23. How are you, Clarence? Good to see you. Yeah, I've been popping them. But yeah, I don't know if I've started late in life or not, or if I'm just an experiment that you're working on. For those who want to know, Z-Beam has given me a large bucket full of taurine pills, saying that they work wonders on your eyes, and I'm a 47-year-old man who hasn't got the best eyes. So I think that Z-Beam is conducting an experiment on me to see if I start taking 1,000 milligrams of taurine each day, whether my eyesight can return to its former best. Am I far from the truth?
Pretty much. Yeah, it works for me. I dump at least a gram a day, and I'm going good.
Yeah, but
Everyone
you said you started like 10 years ago or something, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I started in my
Yeah. So
late
it
teens.
probably should be an experiment that we should invest in, you know.
Yeah, Red Bull doesn't give you wings, but it definitely gives you good eyes.
Oh yeah, because of all the bull's nut derivative it's got in it.
Well, that's what taurine is. Yeah, bull's nuts. It's in red meat. It's not just from testicles. But if you want to munch on a bull's testicle, that's up to you.
What do they call them? Rocky Mountain oysters.
Oh, that's just a little ones. Tender little nuts.
Tender little nuts. We've just been flagged. Thank you.
Oh no. Bulls.
I'm sure there's been at least 6 or 7 other occurrences during the stream that we've been flagged. I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter. I was being racist earlier, I think you're calling me out on. We
Pretty
got away
much.
with that.
Yeah. No band hammer.
I wasn't even trying to be racist, but as soon as I went down that alley, I knew it was going to come off as racist. But I was already committed, so I had to keep going. Yeah, I'll wear it. Come at me. Hang on. Vitra says, I really want to know about coral frags. Ah, well, you've come to the wrong people because neither of us deal with coral.
Coral frogs?
I don't even know, Vitra, if I've got any saltwater people in here. Vince, I don't know if Vince is, or S has delved into this. Oh, Ugly Man. If Ugly's still here. Ugly's probably our best saltwater guy at the moment. Thirsty, I don't know if you've done any saltwater, have you? DD's gone. DD and all of her salts. There we go. Ugly Man. Vitra says, I really want to know a bit about coral frags. Can you keep them out of water for some time and then plant them and then they grow? Bring us an answer, Ugly Man, in the next little while I do a bit of this. Hello there.
Hello.
I don't know. Is that a callback? It's not really a callback, is it? Because we didn't mention it earlier. How'd you go? You all good?
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a wasted day, but it's okay.
But did he? Sorry, yeah. You start by telling everyone what you've done today, so then I can ask my questions.
So my eldest son had his driving test book for today, and turned up, and his logbook basically wasn't in order and needs some fixing up. So I didn't go drawing, and have been busily, stressing and trying to not stress. And at the end of the day, he has to do it again in 3 weeks anyway. So that's all. It's not a very exciting story, but it means I didn't get, yay. I don't get to go and draw today.
Yeah, well, that's clearly the biggest bummer of the day. Did he actually say hi and stuff? I'll pause while you say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Don't just have to wave. Did he actually pass the driving test component though?
No, because they won't give it if you don't have your logbook proper.
Oh, you've got to provide that beforehand before they'll even take you. Yeah, right.
However, I mean, he felt pretty confident after being quite stressed about it. So he felt confident, and then he went for a proper lesson. And then it turned out that all the things I'd been telling him all along were true things. And then he said, like that you have to be always doing your hazard checks all the time, and you have to hold your hands on the steering wheel like properly. You can't just suck your thumb while you're driving or something. So anyway, the driving instructor told him all of these things, and so then he felt a bit stressed that he wasn't actually able to just do those things because he decided that they actually had to be instilled through repeated action to become like habit and stuff. So he was a bit stressed, but so then he's been diligently practicing, doing constant surveying of everything.
Yeah.
Always remembering to cover his brake or tap his brake when a hazard appears at the sides, and trying to keep his hands on the wheel. That was one of my things when I went for my test, because I would always, when I turn around, I'd grab the wheel from underneath to keep going around like this. And apparently you can't do that, and you get failed if you do that.
Pull. You got to push pull.
So the driving instructor I had only had one lesson, but she spent most of the time she'd just slap me on the hands when I do the wrong motion.
That reminds me of the old days learning to play the organ. The teacher going, no, and it's giving you a gentle tap.
Nice. That sounds really encouraging for a child to learn to love music.
Absolutely. Hello, Sergey and Ravenclaw, 23. Hello. Oh, hang on. That's a trick name, isn't it? Ravenclaw, 23. Arr. There's only a very, 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 very select few people on the planet who call me Pirate Boy. So I can only assume that might be young Caleb. No, Caleb should be in bed. Why aren't you in bed, Caleb? Ugly Man says, serves me right for playing with my organ. I was just trying to learn how to use it.
Sorry, guys.
Don't be sorry, just be better.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my paper to try out proper prints. It has not yet arrived.
Do you want to show some of the prints that you have done?
I can, but they're like
for those playing along at home, we got a new printer, a proper, decent, good quality printer to print some of Sarah's artwork out. That looks interesting.
Chili chocolate.
Chili chocolate in a beer.
and they said chewy, and I was thinking, hey, chewy beer doesn't sound really very nice.
Chili. It's got nutmeg, Thai chilies, habanero chilies in it, cinnamon, as well as cocoa.
And is it tasty?
Very tasty.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got put off. I was really sort of interested in some of the weird and wonderful beers, but then the one that I decided to try it was with Mikey one day, and it was like watermelon and black pepper, and it just it was really gross, and it mostly just tasted like watery beer,
right?
And not much other flavors.
Yep. You got to go the extreme ones that have good flavor. Like if it says it's got watermelon in it, it needs to have a lot of watermelon in it, and then it tastes good. But if it's weak, like it's trying to be a beer, but there's so many craft beers that say, "Oh, it's Mandarin or whatever," and it's got fuck all in it, and you're like, "No, you're not cutting it."
Who wants Mandarin in a beer?
Someone likes
Ray says, we need to get Sarah. I've bloody hovered over it so I can't see it anymore. A proper computer chair instead of that wooden one she's using.
Well, on that note, hang on. If I can do this without my eyeballs. So I had my heater on under the desk the other day. Yeah. And when I came back, a piece of my chair had fallen off.
Wow.
So the seat of my chair is now one slat smaller.
Wow.
So it's just the heater was just blowing straight at it. I didn't realize it wasn't a solid piece, but I guess it makes sense.
I have pinning techniques that I could do.
One of those little fan heaters.
I didn't hear what either of you said.
I'll stop. Go, Josh.
I have pinning techniques for doing surgery on items like that, where you drill holes and put in metal pins, and then you put ink on the pin and match it up where it goes, and then you drill into the other side and put glue, and it's stronger than it was before, but it's a bit
it may not be worth it for this old chair.
Chuck it on the fire.
Yeah,
I think that's clearly what Huawei was making an issue of.
The thing is that it looks a lot nicer than a computer chair. Having a wooden chair. But I do. I've got like a sheepskin on it, but it's a sheepskin that used to be for my kids, and at some point a plum got left on it, and so it's got this big brown kind of stain.
Lovely.
And I know it's from a plum, but it happens to be like on my chair. It's kind of right where my bum goes. Yeah.
So you just don't let your guests near your lamb's wool in case they think you've shit your chair.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Or try not to let it get seen on screen.
Yeah, maybe that. I think Huawei is maybe insinuating the same thing I was about to say, that potentially you're just prefacing your story so you've got evidence for the future when it might actually turn up on camera. There's a backstory now. Now we all know it's a plum. It wasn't. It's not an unfortunate accident.
If you told me it was a plum and I was over there, I'd just say, "What? You mean your bum?"
It's all right. I find it kind of like a little bit fun, just the concept of just not mentioning it and just letting it be and letting people think whatever they like to think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really bother me.
Well, you know what it is, as if it matters.
Correct.
Huawei says the plum is canon now. It's official in the storyline. It's a bit of a callback because we were discussing canon and stuff before in the Star Wars universe and whatnot. So that's a solid callback, Huawei. Here's to you, mate.
Got to go tend to my plum.
What if he didn't even intend it? But it was quality, good comedy.
Do you want me to show these? Because then I'm going to move them out of my way because they're kind of on top of my things.
Yeah, go big screen.
Yeah.
No, don't go big screen. Don't.
Okay.
Which screen do you want?
I want this one. That's fine. No. Just why did you need to change it?
I'm trying to work out which will be the best screen to use.
This will be the best screen because then I won't feel like all alone. Everyone's equal and it's the right shape, Anyway, I don't really think that these are very wonderful and interesting.
I hope everyone's watching on 50-inch screens so they can see these tiny images in the right-hand third of their monitor.
Well, because these are I just tried out. It's just on cardstock, so it's not on the proper art paper. But I tried a few of the different varieties. So that was an acrylic painting that I've done that. This one
scanned and then printed from scan.
Yeah. And this one is part watercolor and part digital drawing. So I wanted to see how they would come out. I'd meant to get these ones printed because I had lots of requests for these when I made them, and not just this one, but I did a couple at the same time, and I just didn't. I didn't get around to actually making prints of it. So
that's really cool, Sarah. It's very foxy. I like how you've got two eyes, because sometimes your drawings have the side on. This is really progress. I like it.
Can I head out?
Yay. And then this one, which is a scan of a watercolor and ink drawing.
Almost a fawn, mushroom
Down a bit.
fawn.
There he is. Back a bit.
Cute.
So yeah, and then I did the first print, after the alignment. The first test of anything I did was Mikey's
that
paw.
guy. Do you recognise him,
Penis nose.
Z-Bean?
Penis nose.
God damn, the
Chode
mic.
nose.
Oh,
I dubbed the chode nose.
oh, thanks.
Is it
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, now you've dubbed me Chode Nose. I thank thee, sir.
You're welcome.
Wow. G'day, Zuri. Zuri Basara. Hope I said that right.
Thank you very much.
So- I can chuck those
Go
away.
get dry.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, I'm gonna get over to that.
Yes. And you want to come back and do that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it'll be fun when I get proper paper and I can
Yeah.
actually do some good ones. And yeah, I'm trying to do my website. It's just everything. I'm underestimating how much time everything takes me.
Yep. When you do it all for yourself, that's the way. You don't have much spare time. Like people still ask me, "Do you make the jewelry yourself?" And it's like, no. And I had to explain to a friend yesterday, Jordan, that when you run your own business, you got to be aware of time traps and how spare time is actually your profits.
Yeah.
Like you've got to earn your profits, and your profits is your spare time. So if you don't have spare time, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's I always get. I've only sort of started in the last couple of years bringing myself back in from because I always want to be able to do everything. I'm like, well, I could do that if I try.
Yeah.
And then I try and do like all of the different parts, and actually, one person doesn't have enough time to do everything.
No.
So
That's
trying to
where you
work
got to.
out.
Yeah, you got to move into a gear where you're making enough money off certain things to then pay for help to do certain stuff. But like websites, it's a big trap. Like unless you can do the website yourself, you're stuck in this modality where you're paying other people to deal with shit that you should be able to do yourself, and it ends up becoming a money sink. And IT guys are all around the world are in on the biggest scam of all, which is called maintaining websites to keep businesses going, and that's just a job for them. It's like, I'll do all this work, but I'll fuck something up in the process. It's like a dodgy mechanic, fuck something up in the engine, meanwhile fixing everything else, and they know, in a couple of weeks you'll be back to get the problem they created to be fixed, and that sucks.
What?
It really sucks. And I like to go a bit esoteric on everyone. That's what the whole idea with full employment is to keep everyone busy. Whereas if we move to a society where automation was valued and we saw the more people unemployed as an advantage, like we've liberated 10% of the population from working, we should see that as an absolute gain. But our societies are not at that stage yet.
No, they're certainly not.
Well, I came in at a really bad point in this conversation, didn't I? Would have potentially assisted me to hear the first 47 seconds of it.
Just that full employment's a joke because it makes people do dodgy things to keep employed. Like dodgy mechanics fucking things up just in a little way. Meanwhile, they fix the main problem, so they got work in a month's time,
Yeah, not everyone needs to be employed, do they?
Yeah, well, same thing goes with IT too. Like people fix websites and then they put a little bit of junk in there, and then that causes another problem, and then they got to fix it.
Yeah, that's like the people that do the potholes around Byron Shire.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just like them.
I call them the Byron Shire Council corruption crew because all they're doing is ensuring that they've got more work in the future. 'cause they
You
do
haven't.
their fucking dodgy efforts at repairing potholes, and then the potholes have
You got
to
to
be
do a drive
repaired
down to
3
my
weeks
place,
later.
Blacky.
What?
You got to do a drive down to my place. The roads,
Oh,
all the big bumps are gone.
They've resurfaced.
Done a full resurfacing.
Proper resurfacing, proper
Yeah,
actual.
Here's Emma.
Hi.
Do you want to say hello?
Sorry. I get passionate about the state of the
passionate
road.
about roadworks.
I do. I do. Oh man, I mean, the amount of phone calls I've made to council over the years trying to actually get them to do something, but no, they've resurfaced and retarred a heap of it, and they're still in process. And it's probably the best I've ever seen it look in 20 years of living here. So they suck.
Every time
I think they're only doing it because they got given money, council, by the floods.
Yeah,
so they have to do it. You know, otherwise they wouldn't.
They should be doing more of those little roads out Maynarm and stuff, and Huonbrook and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
I think they will.
Every time I drive out of my street into town, there's the big earth moving equipment and stuff down at the corner.
It doesn't matter if I'm not in you, baby. I'm
old
back.
school.
Michael's talking. Bad etiquette. Sorry, Michael.
Everyone could hear me, I'm sure. Hello, Candy. Yeah. Candy's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Candy, candy, candy.
Can I get you to confirm, Candy, was the person before that was in my chat calling me Pirate Boy, was that your son? I'll need to know that. Because if it wasn't, I probably should have been more brusque with them.
Mhm.
I just assumed it was your son, so I was kind and nice. I think. Was I?
I missed it.
So long ago now. Yeah, it's good to see that you guys are getting some decent roads near your joint. There was some swimming pool sized potholes in my street that they came along and fixed 2-3 weeks ago, and they're all empty as already, with a nice smattering of the tiny little gravel and shit that they use to fill the holes.
Right.
That's what I mean. It's corruption, because they do such a shitty job that they know they're going to have to do the same hole again in 4 or 5 weeks' time. If this weather keeps up. Oh, I say that, but the weather's changed, hasn't it? We've got different weather now.
Yeah, we've got cold, dry. That's what I asked for. But I think it's a 2-part process. There's the road fixing, which is substandard, as well as people driving on it full force with 4-wheel drives, big loads, and that they're just ruining it. You know, maybe if the council put out a PSA saying, look, if you see a pothole that's fixed, try not to drive over it for a couple of weeks, and it might be better.
Yeah. That is me, says Ravenclaw 23. It's awesome to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. You don't send me messages anymore. Oh, wait, we never sent messages. That would be creepy. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously a thing going around town at the moment, because there's roadworks every third street you go to. There's a bit of fixing up being done, even in the back lanes between blocks. There's a team of road workers on Tinkogan Street, just near Cobbers Preschool. They're doing one of those little back lanes there, tidying that up. And it's like, yeah, all of a sudden there's been this massive influx of money into council all of a sudden, and they're fixing up roads. But they really got to focus on the right roads. I mean, why do a back alley in town that's just a little bit of gravel, and it's primarily the road's use is for people's rear access to their properties? I don't consider that kind of road a priority as to some of the, the roads, like I said, Maynarm, Huonbrook, that have causeways that are just completely devastated. Oh, get onto them. Wanganui's got roads that are still out. It's nonsense. Put all that gravel they're wasting in town. They could send it up the bloody valley, up the hills to where it needs to go. Roadworks chat. That's why everyone's here. They want to hear us talk about potholes. Absolutely.
just the answer is just to draw giant dicks over the potholes, and they fix it really quick.
Or put trees in it, fill it up, and put a palm tree in it. That's been pretty popular lately.
Will they fill them up if we turn them into vulvas as well? Because I think we should have sort of an even
parity.
Representation.
Absolutely.
I like the way you think.
Go through the day seeing giant dicks everywhere. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, balanced opinion. We need a balanced opinion in our potholes.
Yeah,
representation.
Great suggestion, Sarah.
I feel inspired. I could go out for some, midnight
vulva structuring.
Rogue vulva painting. Yeah, I could do
that. Just make sure you take photos so you can print them up and make an art series.
Yeah. In the words of Jean-Luc Picard, make it so.
Make it so.
Let's get it done. Create a movement. I think if even in today's current situation with our society and our culture, that vulvas may be more effective than penises for change. So potentially let's not do it 50-50. Let's, do 70-30 vulvas to penises.
Look, dicks have dominated, the graffiti scene for too long.
Yeah, since the Roman time.
Such an easy piece to do.
Yeah. Man do what he know.
Man do what he know. That's a shirt. Yeah. Imagine stone arrangements though. Like if you get to the pothole and it's got a vast array of different sized stones sitting around the hole, and you could start selecting and arranging those stones in the vulva pattern required within the hole.
Well, see, I feel like that's going to be ineffective because it's only going to take one car to drive by to disrupt your whole,
piece
sculpture.
Yeah. You got to do it and take a photo of it and then put it on bloody LinkedIn and hope that Lorraine from HR sees
got to do
it.
them in hot pink, something. Spray paint. Really, really loud, unmissable vibe.
The spray paint ones were good when they were doing them, and they'd just go up with the spray paint. I don't know if they have this over in the US&A people, but around here there was a stage where, because we have so many potholes in this area, this country probably, except for the well-maintained highways that earn the government revenue. But they're spray painting bright colours around a pothole and then making it more into a picture as well. So it just wasn't a circle or something. It might have been a flower or a face or something like that. They were making these potholes into artworks and drawing attention to the fact they were there.
Well, I was just so grateful for the ones when people would just do something bright around it and then like a trail leading to it. So you'd know from in advance where they're going to be. At least if you know. The worst ones are when you couldn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And then you just smash into it and cry for a little while.
I had a thought. Yeah. For full representation, maybe we should do some ginger minges as well as the vulvas.
Some whats?
Ginger minge.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Bright orange hairs, like make a big hairy vulva.
I think that definitely hairy vulvas.
But bright orange, fluoro orange.
Absolutely.
That'll get your attention.
I'm certainly not averse to ginger pubic hair, but yeah, why limit yourself to just one shade of pubic hair?
Yeah.
Just if we're going to be adorning potholes with vulvas, let's get all the shades of pubic hair.
All the shades.
All
Yeah,
the
variety.
shades.
Even the salt and peppers. Geez, I hope Ravenclaw left. He's only young. We're talking
But-
quite responsibly about what we're talking about, aren't we? We're not being vulgar and distasteful.
No, there's
I
far
hope-
more
I
things I
don't
could
think
say,
so.
but I'm holding back.
It's no different than how we'd talk to our kids about such a subject. That's yeah. Let's just agree on that.
Yeah, you know, I do. I would have this conversation in front of my kids.
Yeah.
I don't
'Cause
think
we're
there's
not.
anything bad about it.
No. Huawei, this stream has officially gone off the rails. Was it ever on rails?
Yeah, that was my initial
It
thought.
just kind
as
of
well.
like floats around and wallows in the ditches sometimes.
Like often with his stream, I'll read some news or something, and I'll have a couple of things to fall back on. But today I did nothing of that. All I did was watch cricket and did crosswords this morning. So it's not like I was coming to the stream with useful information. And thank goodness there was that hour there where Joel and Brett could converse, and I could just sit back and do nothing. It was brilliant. I had contact from a guy, made a comment on one of my YouTube videos. It was last week's live stream, I think, and he used to do burp compilation videos of burps out of YouTube videos.
Nice.
And yeah, we had this little bit of a back and forth about how much work it is to create like a highlights video or something like that, because I was saying to him about how I had a burp video, but I'd put about 9 hours work in for about 32 seconds of burps, and it's very, very difficult to justify how much work you have to put in for maybe what might end up to be a 2-minute video of burps. But I might have to put in 74 hours work into creating that, because of how much footage you have to watch back and then cut out and put it in.
If it's your own footage, just do a screen grab of the live timer every time you burp, even afterwards. Then you got cue points.
That'd be a good way.
How do I do that? I just take a photo with my phone or something every time I burp.
There's a button on the keypad that does screenshots. I can't remember which F button it is. I've been trying to work it out myself.
Is it the print screen button? PRTSCRN.
Yeah, that'll be it.
Potentially, yeah, that's it.
I don't even know if I have that button on this new fangled machine.
Me too. They're taken away. They've got icons, but I can't work out which one's which.
Yeah, I don't have that. There's probably a hotkey, a control something that does it nowadays.
I'm gonna get another beat.
It's not.
My keyboard's different to yours, so I can't tell you.
That's because you're an Apple freak.
Yeah, I am.
What have I missed in chat? Stream has gone off the rails. I saw that one. Everything after that, I'm reading now.
I'm just going to give the heads up that I just noticed that it's past 4 o'clock and anytime shortly, my kids are going to come home and I'll have to go. So
I was going to say, I thought they were home at 10 to 4, but that was before the road got destroyed, wasn't it?
correcto.
What way do they go now? Down the
Well, so at the moment they
northern
go,
way.
yeah, they go round mountain and then through Clothiers and Nundry to get back around. But even that road floods really quickly. And so then when that was flooded, the bus driver came to, I don't know if you know where this is, but he came like to Cairns Road. And so if I drove the kids out to Cairns Road, because he couldn't drive back towards my house any further because the road's all slipping and collapsing all along.
Is that Cairns Road's off Clothiers, is it?
No, it's off Reserve Creek Road. It joins Round Mountain and Reserve Creek on the other side of the highway.
Ah, right. Yeah, I don't know where that is.
It's not very, and I always don't like doing this when I know other people that have to listen and it's all just nonsense and gibberish.
They're just
anyway.
assuming that you're making up words.
But yeah, so he's gone a few different ways.
What's that?
But yeah, we've had to be creative because we get pretty stuck here very quickly.
Very quickly.
And all the roads are collapsed everywhere. And I think it'll be 12 months before the Reserve Creek one's done.
Yeah, well, that was the one that had the landslide. That was your only real out in flood times, wasn't it? Because it was up and over hills. As soon as it floods, now you got nothing.
And that other road floods like really quickly because it's already got water kind of sitting in it, but it doesn't really flow. And so
it's
once it rains, it just builds up, so it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah. There's no river or creek system that it's attached to that can flow the water out to sea.
It's supposedly a creek, but
well, but it's all too level.
Yeah.
There's no incline to it, no drop, no fall.
And it's not like fed by anything, you know.
Yeah, it's just a stagnant cesspool of water waiting to be flooded to clean it out.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
That's a delicious environment to live in.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So, Josh, can you tell us what else Em likes about potholes?
I don't know. She drives when it got really bad, we drove really slowly and just avoided them. Whereas we see people in four-wheel drives just go straight through them, and it's like, you're making it worse. So those like when people were painting rings around them, when people were painting rings around them, it was like, oh, this is cool. This is almost like a scientific study because they put the loop around it, and then like within a week that loop would all caved in, and so you could see the rate of decay, about how fast they broke down. So I'm all for people doing the right thing, but they need to be consistent about it, you know. Like, and what's the other thing about potholes I don't know about? Just to go on a tangent, there's guys who work out in the mines who plug up holes in the big machines' tires, and some of those rubber jobs, like they're planing out the inside of the tire and doing all this perfect layering with rubber and patches and everything, and it like these tires are worth like $80,000 for one tire, and the job that these guys do to patch up the tires, they get paid really good money, and the patch jobs cost 10 grand or more for just one hole in a tire. So what's a pothole on a road worth if you've got to keep on doing it rather than doing it right in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. Just do it right. I noticed today that they put out one of those where they put the 2 rubber pipes out along the road for counting traffic. They put one of them at the eastern end of the Federation Bridge today.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much what they have to do everywhere to decide what levels and intensity of traffic they're getting in certain areas, and then determine, let's build a road that can actually cope with this level of traffic and these heavy vehicles that are coming through.
So when you see them, you got to get out your truck and just go back and forth and back and forth.
Or just get
all
out
day.
and go and stomp on it a few times. But yeah, I assume they're a bit more sensitive nowadays, and they do potentially realise that this is a 1.5 ton motor vehicle. This is a 5 ton truck. This is another 5 ton truck.
That's a pneumatic.
14 other 5 ton trucks. Let's build a good bit of road.
Yeah, I think they're pneumatic, so they use air pressure to trigger a valve that does a counter, and it's only counting axles that go over it rather than weight, which is a bit shit.
Still, the more you go and drive over it, the more traffic's going to be registered, and the higher they're going to rate it as needing to be a good road.
Yeah.
So get to it.
Get to backing and forwardsing and backing and forwardsing over those bloody black ropes on the road. Oh, I've got hiccups.
Oh no.
Z-Beam's now the host until I get
Hello.
under.
Hello, everyone. I've been drinking whiskey the last couple of weeks while I was on the road. I've moved on to Buffalo Trace. And they dropped the price within a week of me drinking it solidly. I was like, oh, cool. I'll get $5 off. Okay. But it's really fucking smooth.
It's a nice whiskey. But they call it a bourbon, don't they? Or is it just a whiskey? A Tennessee whiskey, maybe.
I'll grab the bottle.
Well, that is so it's like Scotch whiskey and bourbon whiskey. What's the other kind of whiskey?
To answer your question, Michael, it is everything. It is Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
There you go. I think the USA, certain department or something in the USA was pushing, because Brazil wanted, there's a particular liquor that comes out of Brazil that they, how champagne did the thing where you can't make champagne unless it's from this area and fulfills certain criteria.
So like that agua?
Huh?
Agua?
The coca leaf stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's a Brazilian one that they wanted exclusivity on the name because of the location it was made. And for America to agree with that, they were saying that they have to have exclusivity on Tennessee whiskey and bourbon whiskey as well as being only allowed from certain, brewed under certain conditions and in a certain place and stuff.
I'm gonna go.
Okay. Lovely to see you, Sarah.
Bye, Sarah.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
That was lovely. Bye, Sarah, from the background.
Yeah, I like that. But thanks for having me.
Always. Anytime, ever.
It was fun. I kind of wish it was, 1 o'clock. But then I might pull out my martini glass or something. Anyway, it's not to be.
Not this day.
You
Not
missed
this
it.
day. Go.
Michael, you missed your kiss.
What?
You missed your kiss.
Weren't even watching.
I wasn't. Sorry.
That's okay. All right. Go well.
See ya. You have to rewatch that, man. You got a kiss blown at you and everything, and you missed it.
It wasn't at me. It was at Huawei.
Oh.
Huawei knows it.
It was for Huawei.
Well, I'm sitting here in shorts and no socks, and I'm getting very chilly, so I might have to go and put some warmer clothing on.
No worries, man.
Turn the slow cooker back on to get this casserole brewing.
Lovely.
Just trying to recap some chat. BJ's going to sleep. Vince says it would not be a stream without Sarah. I tend to agree. Unfortunately, she doesn't show up all the time. Well, I think we were kind of blessed today that she showed up because she had to do her oldest son was doing his driving test today for his provisional license. And yeah, their logbook in Australia, we have to, as a learner driver nowadays, you have to do a logbook where you have to log, Jesus Christ, words. You have to log the hours that you've done in your learning time and stuff. And his logbook was all over the place and there was loose pages and stuff. So he didn't get to accomplish his P's today. And if your logbook's not in form, they don't even take you out for the driving test. So he's got to go and redo that ASAP. But that's why Sarah wasn't here earlier. She had to go and do driving test instead of drawing. And that's why she didn't turn up with more pictures and stuff. Night, BJ. Sleep well. Good dreams and stuff. And we might just piss off, shall we? We'll just call it quits right here.
See you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. Thanks, Z-Beam. Thanks. I've forgotten his name already. Vincent Cassel, French film director who was here earlier. And everyone else. GRB, thanks for slinging links as usual, brother. Much appreciated. I've still got to send a guitar pedal or two to you. Don't think I've forgotten, because I haven't. Chode nose. Yeah, that's going to stick, isn't it?
Sorry. That's terrible. It's the artist's interpretation. It's not really you. You don't have a chode nose.
And it's funny that that the original piece of that artwork hangs on my wall in my room at the foot of my bed. So now I have to look at it every night before I go to sleep and think that's a chode nose right there.
Need some upgrades.
I don't know why she put the bloody rude finger in there though.
Right.
I like during the whole modeling session, I flipped to the bird only once for microseconds, and it
that was enough.
Became a major part of the picture. Unfortunately,
oh yeah.
That now I'm forever immortalized as the chode nose that's giving the finger. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you all hanging out for this long. It's been an interesting progression because I was completely sober at the start of the show, but now I feel quite drunk. So it'd be a really good one to watch on fast forward. Possible tips for replay Team 6 if you're watching the replay. Oh, it's probably too late to give them that advice now. I might have to go back to the start and drop in a,
Comment.
watch this video at 2 times speed and watch Blacky get
1.25.
drunk real quick.
Yeah.
Because, crikey, I did eat food and stuff. I didn't think I'd get this drunk this quick, but I feel pretty drunk. But anyway, it's been a pleasure to have you all along for this ride of me getting drunk this time. We're not too indifferent from all of the other times that we've been together. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, everyone. I think I thanked GRB for his links. I think I thank Z-Beam for hanging out and stuff, and everyone else. Scunge Princess, of course. Go and check her stuff out. She's got awesome stuff coming up soon for everyone. New website, new artwork. Oh, get amongst it. You're going to want some Scunge Princess artwork before she dies. It's going to get bloody expensive then. All right, everyone, take it easy. See yous when we are